Let me see.
Knock more, knock more, knock more. Knock more now, everywhere with you. Knock more, knock more, knock more. Knock more, knock more, knock more. Knock more, knock more, knock more. No more than the radio. Here and that radio. Lion, that radio. That radio. That radio. That radio. I see what that radio.
All right. We want to welcome you here, folks. I'm Afonso Zienso of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. We want to welcome you to this broadcast here. Today is Sunday, and it's an informative news magazine. Freedom Watch, it comes away here every Sunday right here from the New England Bureau of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. Thank you for being part of today's program. We're going to be taking an extensive conversation here. Some of my guests are already here. Let me just bring in our guests. We're going to be taking a critical look of the senatorial race in Liberia. Let me see here. We can bring our guests shortly here. Let's just take the quick commercial break, and I'll be right back. Okay, well, time is fast spent. We want to welcome all our viewers and listeners across the globe. Hopefully, our audio is doing well. If that's the case, just give a thumbs up. Some of my guests are here. Let me just begin to bring them in right here. And we're going to be having this discussion here. Let's see here from Sacramento, the Liberal Progressive is there. Samson Bronto. Samson, you need to get to your camera, please. Samson Tor is here. Let me go to Norway. It's a team of collections. LPR analyst Emmanuel Boa is also here. We hope to have the other rest of the guys join us here. We're going to be having an extensive conversation here right here this afternoon on the Liberia Public Radio. As you know, Gide is part of the races ongoing in Liberia. Gide is one, and I'm privileged to have a veteran journalist. He's also a senior editor of the Liberian News Agency. Justice Clark is here joining us from the nation capital of Monrovia. Mr. Emmanuel Boa is in Norway. The rest of the folks will be joining us here. Justin, are you hearing me?
Very loud and clear. I'm hearing you, Afonso.
Okay, good. Good to have you here. It's a good evening in Liberia, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's shining here whole day, which is very good at this point because what we've been seeing over the last few days has been rain. So I think today we can say is very good because it allows movement, in a very perfect way. But it's my pleasure being on your platform. This is my debut appearance. As a matter of fact, I am a former Africa Bureau Chief of what used to be, Gide.
Yeah, voice. Okay, then that's all right. We have gone through a lot of transition anyway. But
so but it's my pleasure being on the platform with some my big brothers from the county.
Okay, good. We're going to get in depth and we're going to have the discussion. Mr. Boa, are you there?
Yes, you are loud and clear.
Okay, I know it's a morning time. I'm so sorry to wake you.
No, it's not in the morning, it's in the evening, sir.
Oh, in the evening. There you go. That's the beauty of God. Well, thank you joining us and for spending your time with us here. It's all about our county, Grand Gide, and we hope to extend this sort of conversation to all of the rest of the counties. We have to look at critically those that could be represented in Liberia. For most often, we tend to blame the executive branch of government, but we also are involved in the decision making of what is unfolding in Liberia. So we're going to be having that discussion. There are some other guests, Mr. Dolu, hopefully Roosevelt Johnson Jr. Will also be coming in. Dr. Willen Toa will also be coming in here. So we hope they are all up. Let me just do a little bit quick house cleaning here to make sure devices, everything are properly connected. Yeah. So Boa, go ahead.
Yes, thank you for having me. I think this is my second time on your program, and I'm highly honored to be here again this evening so that we can talk a little bit about our county and things that are going on in Liberia, especially for our aspiring candidates who want to take political positions in Liberia, especially in our county. And I
Okay.
think it is about time that we challenge them and try to, actually know what their intentions are. Is it only that you want to come to power so that you can aggrandize yourself and make money, or you want to come to power because you really need to serve your people? So we really need to challenge them this evening and question them to the core so that at least we know exactly what our people will be voting in for.
Okay. All right. So I'm trying to see here to make sure to get in touch with the rest of the Kennedy. Some of those are going to form part of the discussion here, so they will join here. Okay. Your county, my county, all of us are from my Grand Jude. First of all, does it make sense for us to critically look at who our potential leaders based on the information that we know? But besides that, let me go to Mr. Clark, who is in Liberia. I believe you tested this system before, right?
Of course. But before I proceed, let me make this clear. My views expressed on this medium are not representative of the Liberian News Agency. All right, Grand Juda County for me is more than anything. So, irrespective of one's profession, once you're from Grand Juda, you see the county as being that common denominator. So, every view that I will express here personally represent my analysis and my opinions about current events in Grand Juda.
Okay, it's good.
Yeah.
Politicians.
Yeah. So I I tested the water before in Chen district to be precise. I was the youngest candidate in the district. I don't want to say because I'm always a rich man, but I mean, with no finance, everything. But if you check, I went into that race with a message, a resounding message that I expected that our people understand, digest, and then are made to act upon it. I don't question the decision of our people. Let's get that clear. But I was one young man who was just tired of seeing leaders, especially a representative of a key district, the heart of Grand Juda, the heart of the entire southeastern region. I'm talking about Zweju or Chien district. All right, to see a great deal of underrepresentation being perpetuated by a particular young man who everybody thought was going to be, was going to bring change, especially after the war. It was so disappointing for me. So I did not want to be that young person who will be behind a house gossiping and all of that. So I went with a particular message of change, especially having the gusto of leadership, knowing that I'm very different and I can understand like little politics, I can understand African politics, I can understand global politics, I can understand local politics. But again, you don't want to question the decision of our people. Sometimes elections are not as clean as people see them. But again, that's the struggle and we have to go through them. So now I am hoping that our people will learn from 2017 and the other election years of the past to see how we can make that change moving forward into the next election and the future.
Okay, that's the voice of Justice Clark, one-time candidate for Chien District. We're going to get a really good insight experience. What was then and now? Is there anything new? He's going to help to dive through the systems. Our analyst is joining us from Norway, Emmanuel Gladiboa. And of course, in Morovia, LPRO chief there, Mr. Mike Down is in studio. Mike, are you there? Mike Down, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Alfonso. Morovia is quite very. Yes, I'm here, Alfonso. Morovia is quite interesting. The breaking news is that the remains of the late Representative Mona Pena Yomblo has just arrived. As you can guess, yeah, from my background now, is this arrival of the remains of the late Mona Pena Yomblo from Accra, Ghana. So the ballet has arrived in a district and it will be taken to the St. Moses Funeral Parlor tonight. tears could not just been held by citizens of this district in Mosovado district number 9 after the arrival of the remains of their lawmakers actually is a side movement as I'm following the situation very keen here. Let's just take a audio from them. What is happening?
We want President Weah to remain power. And by that, he will go to 24 years. She was the first.
Sorry for the breaking there from the audio from the video. So I mean, it's quite interesting. I mean, the representative of District 9, she was she broke a record that was here for so many years when she became the first young female to have been elected at the national legislature in 2011. So her demands have brought some level of tears in the eyes of many of her followers here in Morovia.
Okay, Mike, let's hold it right there.
Yes, Afonso.
Hold it right there. Also being joined, Mr. Yinon is an analyst of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. We're just hearing the remains of the late representative of District Number 9, Mona Yomblo, has arrived in Morovia, and that seems to be the talking point. We're going to get that, but let's just pivot. Let's come back home here to what is happening right here on the Liberia Public Radio, taking the in-depth by the 2020 senatorial race on a radar. We're going to be doing that to all of the rest of the 14 political subdivisions. We think everybody has a take into this year. Let me welcome our analyst, Mr. Alfonso Yinon. Mr. Yinon, are you there? Mr. Yinon, are you there? Your microphone is open. Are you there?
It seems not to be getting you.
Yeah. Okay. Let me see here. Alfonso, are you hearing me? Okay. All right. Let me see it. Let me just see. I'm not getting his. I'm not hearing him. Let me see what I can. He needs to check his mic. You need to check his mic.
His camera is not displaying as well.
Yeah, I think he has some.
Okay, let me see. Let me just get him out here, and then maybe he can come back in here, and then we can get it going. Okay, so let's get this started here. Let's get this here as what the liberal progressive of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV, Samson Brown, has just joined this conversation from the Sacramento side of the Liberia Public Radio. What a huge conversation here this evening. Okay, gentlemen, let's get this ball.
Mr. So, can you hear me?
Yes. Thank you. All right. Samson, thank you. So, are you there? Alfonso, are you hearing us now?
Samson,
I'm here. I'm hearing you, but the sound is cracked. So it could be connection issues. So I will try relocating to see if that makes it better.
Yeah, okay, please do that, and then we're going to bring you in. Okay, let me just get in out, then I'm going to bring you in here. Okay, gentlemen, so welcome to this opinions, view, and I will be very critical here. I want people to take a definitive position. However, we cannot force you. You just need to make a declaration where you stand on this issue. I have serious. Our county got her independence since 1964, and the way, the style of which we elect our leaders, I think it is time for voters, commentators, and analysts, pundits, the liberals as well. They are not the conservative, but the liberals, especially, they are in the drive of leading us into this kind of mess that we are in. I see my friend and brother Samson told Smiley, I did not call your name, so don't get panic. I will reach to you. You are liberal. That's the established fight, and that's now we're going to. I don't think you want to shy away this evening here. Okay, so Mr. Boa.
Yes.
Is it a good idea for us to have this sort of conversations to go into the minds of the electors in how they make their decision?
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. So. I think it is about time that we educate our people on why there is a need to know who they are electing to positions of powers in our home. They need to know. We need to educate them on our local radio station to tell them who this person is and why we think this person can be voted in. Just talk about the candidates and know who they are. What have they done? What have they achieved in their life from the time they were young up to coming to the position of seeking elected position? I think it is about time that our people get to understand the fact that you don't just elect somebody because he is your relative or because he comes from your same district or because he speaks the same language that you speak. I think we need to be conscious of the fact that people should be elected because of what they can do or for what they have done. And let us understand that we need people who have their citizens at heart, who know the problems of the electorate. We don't just elect people because they came and killed cow in our village today, and then we celebrate and enjoy, and then when they leave, that's the end. No, when you go back to Grand Nigeria today, what have we achieved? For the last 12 years, we've been having peace in Liberia. But to go to Grand Nigeria is a problem. Now you can't even travel to Grand Nigeria by this time because the roads are bad. Do we have to wait for the national government before we improve our roads? No. I think those that we elect into office, we need to cautious them so that they can do the work that needed to be done. So I think it is about time that we educate our people so that they will be very cautious of who they elect to position of authority. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Good. All right. So let me go to the liberal progressive, Samson Bronto. Samson, are you there?
Yes, I am, Mr. Soul.
Okay, Mr. Todd, welcome as usual. Welcome home. This is a network. How are you doing this Sunday?
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Thank God. We always pray, and the family back home and here, everyone's doing well. And we want to thank God for that because through His mercy, we continue to live. And it's just wonderful that He continued to pour blessing on all of us. And we appreciate it.
Okay, let's get straight to the boy here. I'm not here.
Did you go to church? Samson, did you go to church today? Did you go to church today, Mr. To?
Do this, and right now it's around about 10, 8, almost 10:20 here. So no, I didn't go today.
There you go. Okay, let's get straight to the issue here. The 2020 senatorial race in Grand Nigeria. Have you taken a position?
Yes, in the interest of fairness, I also want to disclose here publicly that I am supporting Mr. Wolonyano, and in fact, I am playing a key part in his senatorial bid, upcoming senatorial bid, but we consider ourselves as friends of Yano because we're not campaigning of doing anything of that sort at this time. So we consider ourselves a friend of Yano. And then one other thing I want to point out here, my comment and my position here tonight is not being endorsed by the campaign. In other words, the campaign did not send me here, but I'm not going to shy away from my own position as someone who is strongly supporting Mr. Yano.
Okay, there you go. The policy is there. I'm being joined by His Excellency, the distinguished fellow, is the special envoy of ECOWAS. I'm talking about Ambassador Dr. Gedeans Toa is here as well, joining us from Minnesota. COVID-19 is getting out of compulsion to visit with us, and so we're going to do everything possible we can to tap into his expertise. Dai, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. So.
Okay, all right.
And good afternoon to everybody.
Okay.
Yes, God, welcome on the program, sir. How are you?
Oh,
okay.
Very well.
All right. The glove is absolutely off my hand this afternoon. I am not happy with what is going on in my country, in Liberia, in Grand Nigeria, in Maryland, in Sino, and all over the place. The manner in which politicians and people that are seeking state power handle their things. So I'm gonna be getting your honest take, and we're gonna start. The care, going to start eating your own baby first. We're gonna start with our own county, Grand Nigeria. We have heard from a lot of some of them, not all, some yet still to come and show face. and it's up to them. So we're going to be looking at all of that. Mr. Are you hearing us? Alfonso, are you there? Mr. Are you hearing me?
Technical issues, but I'm hearing you.
Okay, so hopefully you are getting us here. All right.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you now. Yeah, go ahead. Is our senior analyst. We're going to be getting his perspective as well on the races, not just on the Grand Judet, but all other races are going to be going on and to see how it looks like. Okay, gentlemen, we have heard from quite few of our individuals that have expressed their interest, and we want to make it crystal clear they are yet to be certified by the National Election Commission, but they have made their declarations why they are seeking state power. Dr. Toa, let me just bring you in here. Is it fair for us to come to a conclusion now, or is it possible, or can we look at the records of this individual? We have Dr. George Bolle, who is in the lower house trying to seek political elevation to the upper house. We have Zoe Emmanuel Penon, the same way. We have Mr. Bill Yanun. We have former Foreign Minister Thomas Yaya Nimle. We have reached out to Beatrice Johnson, Florence Duncan, and Amos Zled. Those are other people here. But based on those that we have talked to so far, do we have the evidence to make a determination who they are?
Well, thank you. I think that we still need to engage because, as I spoke with you the other time, that from the presentation from those that you spoke with, I still have not been able to gather from the platform so far the issue of how they intend to address the acute situation confronting the young people in the county. In fact, the future leaders of our county, that has not been fully articulated, has not been fully addressed. So I would like us to engage them more for them to explain to us what their platform is and what to give us to explain themselves. But so far, have not been able to gather sufficient from them what their plans are regarding the issue of our young people in the county and overall the young people in the country. And that is a very crucial moment that all of us need to consider.
So, meaning you're still going to hold your peace. The last you need to hear before coming up with a definitive position.
Absolutely. Brother So and all of us here and others who are now on the panel, the issue of our young people, the young people. I believe the young people constitute between 70% of our population, and the level at which the young people are sitting idly and without a planned direction for them, I think is troubling. And people seeking higher offices in our country, they need to tell us. And so I'm still listening up to see what do they have to offer, as a prescription going forward, how to address this issue. And when that is done, I will be able to make up my mind and to see how I can help those who will be able to articulate that to help them to become the leaders of the county.
Okay, let me go to Liberia, where Justin Clark is standing by, one of those contestants who tested the politics of Grangy there, and I'm quite sure he's keeping close eyes on the process. I'm not sure, Mr. Clark, you are in line with what Dr. Wallentoa is saying. You in Liberia, you know those guys. The names are familiar. Do you have a different position?
First of all, let me speak my my dialect because I see my father here tonight. I'm so elated. Na luo na oma.
Oh, luo yobo. Awai.
This is new. I want wake.
Okay, I boy so atro.
Okay. All right. So to a larger extent, to a larger extent.
Oh, okay. Let me see there. Lose. What his name?
Justice.
Justice. Right there. Let me see here. Yeah. Let me see here. Okay, okay, he's back with us here. Let me just see we can bring in here. Clark, are you there?
Yeah, he's back.
Okay, I'm back.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
So my father who just spoke now, and to some extent I disagree. Now I agree with him on the issue where he says, there's still time to assess the platform, the agenda of the different candidates, or I mean, the different aspirants. They are yet to be candidates because there's no NEC nomination process going on. What is happening now in the country, where you see other people who are interested to go in the race, going from place to place, is just out of desperation. All right, people who want to become senators at the detriment of the population, who want to pension themselves at the weakness of the population, they are going around, making people to have that thinking that campaign is going on where people endorsing people here and there. But I mean, to endorse a candidate, you must understand what that candidate has in his valise as an agenda that people's lives can be improved. All right, so I agree with that on that. Where I respectfully disagree is to always refer to young people as future leaders. I beg to differ, but I disagree. I mean, I really love this old man who is my father from Niawo. I'm from Poa, all right, and he's from Janzo. So is that young people, we are leaders. We are not future leaders. If you look at the reason why I contested in 2017, because I couldn't wait for somebody to say you are a future leader, because I see myself today as a leader. That's a key motivation force or key motivation factor that will make young people not to be going beyond handouts, like what we see today in Monrovia. Some young people live in Monrovia because they cannot have that confidence, so they go with bad leaders simply because they want to get mobile money transfer. So we are leaders today, and once we don't recognize the fact that we are leaders now, we will never trace that fact. Okay, and if you look at the legislature, it was not a bad thing for Grand Jide to elect a 32-year-old man, especially Chien District, which is basically the capital of the Southeast, to have elected a 32-year-old man in 2005 or 2006, just to be later on disappointed. Then I really have to assess the agenda of the different candidates before I can make declaration.
Okay, let's leave it at that. Let me go to the liberal progressive. He's watching, listening keenly, and I want to go into Norway, where Mr. Boa is there, and of course, Mr. Yinon will be there. Something to. I'm not hearing you, Mr. To.
You hear me now?
Yeah, loud and clear. Okay, you listen to Dr. Towat. You listen to Mr. Clark, who is in Liberia, who tested the process in making his case here. And you have a liberal who is sitting there in California, with closer to Nancy Pelosi. I'm quite sure you have a different view. What is unfolding here this evening? Where do you stand?
Well, thank you, Mr. So. First of all, I appreciate you having us on here tonight, this morning, actually in my area, to have discussion about our county, which is very interesting. Listening to our brother, the two brothers, I think was very interesting. And one is the good doc is telling us, okay, well, I'm not ready to judge anybody right now. I'm not going to rush into judgment and making decision because this person is from this side. I want to see exactly what they have to offer. And as an educated person, I think that's the right decision. You wait until everybody show their hand. There's nothing here to hide. And so I think his position is very clear, and we respect that as well. The young man said, "No, what the fact that you say we are future leaders, I think that tend to allow the young people to continue. So, okay, well, and I'm on time here, so let me go big for small things." And his point is very elegant and very respectful, and I accept that. However, the reason why you say young or future leader, in my perspective now, and the reason you will say that is that so that these young people will gravitate towards experience, getting themselves ready to get to a certain position. I think that will be the reason why people will continue to say young future leaders. It doesn't mean they want to disparage them or put them down. And I don't think that's what the young man was making reference. Now, as far as to my own candidate, Mr. Nyanu, I think if we Nigerians, we have a choice. If we say let's go with people who have the ideas, let's have a debate on ideas, how to move this country to the next level, then I think nobody stands a chance with Mr. Nyano. But if you're going to come out here and say, as the young man say, we'll follow the bag of rice, we will follow people who will pay us money right now to fill our stomach, then I think you have an issue, because I don't believe this is what Mr. Nyano will want to do. I believe that Mr. Nyano most likely will say, look, you need help. We as a county must unite and help each other. However, it is better and best for you to learn how to fish for yourself than for me to provide fish for you all the time. Because what if I'm not able to do that tomorrow? How do you go about getting fish for yourself? And as the good dad correctly stated, the young people of Granjin, folks, this is a very important election. Granjin County, as you know, was in the mix of the war. And during the war, everything ceases, including process of educating oneself. Everything stopped. So we have that kinds of the population among us that were not fortunate enough to, not that they don't want to, but the opportunity wasn't there. Number one. But that doesn't mean that because the opportunity wasn't there at the time, that should then put them in a back burner. And this is what Mr. Nyami comes across. He said, these are people that we're going to pay attention to. These are people that need our attention, not necessarily paying somebody for cash money, or paying one person, one Granjinian or two Granjinian, paying their scholarship money. What happened to the rest of the people from Granjinian, the young people? How do you can be a humanitarian person and go and you say, I want to put my money aside to help people, but you shouldn't, and you must not use your wealth because you want vote and therefore pay people for the vote, and then when the election time finish, we don't see you anymore. This is not what we're about to do, and Yano is going to make it clear to everyone. Look,
there you go.
This is me. Every Nigerian in the diaspora know who Yano is, and even people back home know who Yano is. So if Yano is to say, look, this is what I'm willing to offer. I think if we go on this election based on ideas,
Mr. To,
you have to bring to this table, and people stand no chance with Mr. Nyano.
All right, Samson, hold on right there. Okay, let me welcome a distinguished gentleman also joining this forum, Mr. Dolu. Mr. Dolu, are you there? You have to mute your mic.
His mic is muted.
Yeah, I'm trying to do it. It's actually from his end there. Okay, let me just bring in Mr. Boa while he's trying to do this. Okay, let me just move him here until he can come there. Are you there, Mr. Boa?
Yes, I am. I'm here.
Okay, all right. You listen to the liberal, Samson told the globe is already on.
No name of day. Yeah, thank you, Mr. So. I think in our tete-a-tete chat between you and I, the first thing I said, our people need to know who they are electing to position of trust. Who is Mr. Yano? What has Mr. Yano done? What is he planning to do? How does he intend to change the narrative of our young people, of our people in Grand Jira County? So since Mr. To is an ardent supporter of Mr. Yano, those are some of the questions we need to put onto Mr. Yano. Why do you wish to be a senator for Grand Jide County? What is your platform? What do you intend to do that will improve the lives of our people in Grand Jide County? Yes, Mr. Toh specifically said that Mr. Yanu will not be the type that will want to buy you rice so that you can vote for him. Yes, I agree with that, because that is not what we want. Our people need permanent solutions. So, and these permanent solutions are solutions that we think creating jobs, creating opportunity for the young people so that they can advance their life, so that they will be able to be independent on their own. So we need to ask these candidates what they intend to do for our people.
Okay, Mr. Dolu, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, if you can just get to your camera, because we're just saying we're hearing the voice and we can't see. We want to make sure who we're looking at. If you can adjust your camera, that would be good, so that you'll be visible to our guests. While you're doing that, let me just bring in Mr. Yino. Mr. Yino? Are you there, Mr. Yino?
Yeah.
Alfonso, you gotta check your mic is muted from your end. Alfonso, are you there? Check. You have to check your mic, Mr. Yino. It is muted from your end, so there's no way that I can really regulate that. Okay, let me see here. Let me see it, Mr. Dolo. Okay, Mr. Dolo, are you there now?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, thank you so much, and good that you joined us here all the way there from UK. And thank you so much for being part of this program. Yeah. Okay, so quickly let the cat out of the bag. The invite there to you. You know exactly what we're going to be talking about here, and you have the right to take a stand as a son of the soil. We quite a few names in the race for the senatorial seat of Grand Jide County. Mr. Dolo, have you made a decision? Have you come to a point who to support?
Yes, really, Mr. So I'm looking at Mr. William Nyano. He's the one I'm looking at. Okay, people like Dr. Bole, Zopenu, some here have not been there before, but Dr. Bole and Penu have been there, and especially Zopenu, for the past 15 years, I've not seen anything from him. I don't know whether he can even introduce a bill or support a bill. You know the history of Grand Jide, my brother. From the time I was a kid, from Moses PR days, as superintendent to Abba White, to Kuda Jerry, up to everybody else, and up to our own brother Samuel Doe coming to power. Grand Jide was expected to be developed, but we at the least. And during the war, people like Nyanu, people like Boli, some of them were not around. So Benin went in there, but he don't say anything. Grand Jide needs somebody who will knock sure with vanish among them. Grand Jide need guys, a gentleman in there or a lady in there who will stand up to the educated guys and argue, introduce a bill, demand what is really for Grand Jide, and Grand Jide will further develop. But I mean, I think William Nyano is a seasoned engineer, educated, sound craftsman, son of the soil, like the others. But I think Zoe Penu and the other folks should now give chance. Let us support William Nyano. On the first place, my first position is the PDP refugees from Ivory Coast. Nearly all of them got voter registration cards. Why are they voting? I don't know. when our people were in Ivory Coast as refugees, they never voted in our foreign refugees in a foreign election. Why will these people in Grand Guinea allow? Why will NEC give them registration card?
Mr. Dolu.
Yeah.
Okay, hold your piece right there. Let me see. Hold your piece right there. That one we do not have specific tangible evidence to argue that. Mr. Are you hearing me now? Alfonso, are you hearing me now? I'm not sure what's going on with your
Yeah,
audio.
I'm hearing you.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I'm not, but I was hearing bits and pieces.
Yeah. Okay. So you listen to Mr. Molodolu. He's based in UK. He's also in the wing of my own Samson Brown tour. He seems to be a happy man this afternoon because he's trying to break the tie here. But if you hear this here from potential voters or people who will have influence into the process, what comes to mind in terms of our decision making in the electoral process overall in Liberia? For some reason, your audio is not doing favor. Can you better position?
Yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch. Yeah, I'm going to switch to another. I'm going to switch to another
device. Let's do that. Let's do that. Okay, let me bring in Dr. Toa. Dr. Toa, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so you said you were waiting, and that's your right. As elder too, so you don't want to see the bamboo here so quickly here. And the others say, okay, the bamboo is beautiful. People are portraying the bamboo differently. But this is why it's kind of a little bit confusing. I heard Comrade Dolu saying, Bole, all the people, they are being there. I did not hear him calling Nyano name being there, but say Nyano is educated. So I'm a little bit confused here. Is Bole not educated? Is Tomoyaya not educated? I yet to see the foundations on which his support now is being going to Willand Nyano. Where is the doubt here as well? Do you have concern with that?
Well, let me say this, Brother Zianso, I am an elder of Grand Guinea, and I respect all of the sons and daughters of Grand Guinea. But when it comes to voting, when it comes to elections, then it is a question of why it is that you have on your platform to inform us, me, that things that you want to do for us. All of the names mentioned, I know them. These are people that I interacted with one way or the other. And so they are young, they are Grandians, they love the county. I mean, we can't dispute that. However, I think we need to give some time to allow them to represent their platform, those things that they want to do for the people of Grand Guinea. It is true that education, preparing oneself is very important. I think basically all that in a race, they have some level of education. Yanu is very competent. Dr. Bole, very competent. Even Zopeno in his own right, he's competent. And all of them, they are competent. They are sons and daughters. They are daughters. I mean, they are sons of Grand Guinea, sons and daughters of Grand Guinea. I mean, because there's a leader you mentioned, even though I don't know her personally. But I respect all of them, and I will encourage all of them to go on to be endorsed by the Election Commission, because you see, the more we have the exchange, we have competitive ideas, and may the best person win. The only drawback that I have in the selection of panelists today, I know you asked me to come to discuss a subject, and not to endorse. I see that two of the panelists are navigating toward Yanu. So in the selection, the panelists, you consider the possibility to have cross-fertilization of ideas in terms of who want to support, to make sure that we have fair play for all other candidates, so that it can be like, well, probably you selected people that are skewed towards one candidate because we have to be fair. So I just wanted to throw a little light on that also. But these are all young sons. They are all sons and daughters of the county that I respect, but they need to present their platform and analyze the platform to make sure that what they have in stock to serve the people of Grand Gide is well articulated for us to understand.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, and that's a very good point. But at the same time, we also make it crystal clear that it is with India, right? If we were to inviting individuals to represent these institutions, we would have gone strictly to the candidates and say, hey, we're going to have a discussion come. But this is a sampling type view. And but at the same time, we want them to be honest, to come to us, to tell us, because the decision makings of all of us, I think, by and largely, and if they are doing it with honesty, that's fine. So their views, their opinions express, we want people to know, and it is important that they take this position. So that's okay. And as a matter of fact, that we have extended invitations, if not all, to all of the candidates that are participating. Few have answered our call, and some will hopefully they appear. Okay, let me go to Morovia, where Mr. Clark is standing by. Mr. Clark, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm posted. I'm following.
Okay, so tell us a little bit here. Give away insight of the politics in Grand Gide. You alluded here, you started off by saying you did not have all of the resources, but yeah, you went there, you have the ideas. That seems to me that in the absence of financial resources, it's hard. I don't care how your message is seizing, well put together. In the absence of financial resources, where maybe you're going to be giving something out in exchange for vote, it makes it difficult. Your message did not resonate. Is that a point you are driving to? Is that quite different from what is happening in the Western world, the politics in Liberia, Grand Gide? Is it far from reality?
Affirmative. And I guess people in Liberia and people in the diaspora where you people are, I've got to understand that. It's a hard fact. Okay, I'm a young man at which time I think I was a junior student at a university, and I decided to venture. But again, the Liberian politics on the overall had long been polarized or had long been dollarized after the war. If you may recall, after the war, people were starving. After the 2003 war, or say, at the end of the war, people were starving, people had no food. So after the power sharing government, a few individuals, whether they are bad or they are good, once they can take materials, money, food to the local populations, I mean, they are the best people. You can say the last thing you want about, about reality, you're on your own. So, I mean, they succeeded in that. And it started to perpetuate to 2011, onward to 2017. So now, the point here is that Grand Gide County, what's really, really sorrowful for me is that while it is true that I have not endorsed a candidate, I will also say there is no need that Representative Zoe Penno seeks to perpetuate himself at the legislature simply because, I mean, he wants to pension himself at the detriment of the people. Because if you really look, if you really look at Grand Gide from 2006, there is no tangible infrastructure or economic-driven initiative or, say, academic promotion initiative that has been undertaken by this young man. Now, should Bole also venture? I said no. Because if you look at legislative politics, I mean, I stand to be corrected again, the difference between being a representative and a senator, I mean, the difference is just slim. A key difference is that you don't confirm when you're a representative, and then you confirm public nominees by the president as a senator. That's why basically they see senators as elders, because it's like you got to go under the cola tree. But besides these small different things, the House cannot do anything without the Senate. The Senate equally cannot do anything without the House. Only confirmation as far as I know. So why would you want to leave a House of Representatives and transition to the Senate? To do what? To do what? So I'm saying, while it is true that we have not endorsed somebody, there's no need that a certain lawmaker pushes for the Senate. Now, my own little experience I had is that I was the first candidate in the Chen district race who drafted a comprehensive platform before the likes of former Superintendent Chris Bailey. If I was open, had none. When his boys drafted what they call an agenda or platform, they took it to him. He tuned it up. He said, I'm going to indict myself, you know. So what was drafted by boys when they took it to him, he tuned it up because simply he does not want to commit himself to a certain thing that in the future they will say, oh, but you promised to do this, you promised to do this. And what he decided to do was to promote, early childhood sex among the young people of Grand Jude by telling young girls that when you get pregnant, I will give you top. There's no need to worry. You got to stick behind your locally kind of.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, we're gonna go to, I think, Justin's. There's a little bit internet connection. Okay, let me just see here. Let me just get him from this side here. Okay. All right. Let me see here. Oh. Sorry. Let me just
add on in those. We're having bad politics in Grand Jude, and that has to end. That has to end. And you, our fathers, our brothers and sisters in the diaspora, you don't only say when it's 1 year to election, and then you say one candidate, you say we're supporting this person. For me, it's a good thing to support somebody, but you have to do more than that. For example, you have to set up committees. You have to set up, a high-power delegation to come to our people, to educate our people via the radio stations there, going to the different villages, so that our people can understand. Because when we remain like this, Grand Jude will lose its place in a committee of counties in Liberia, and God forbid that is not going to happen.
Okay. All right, let me bring you into Mr. Are you there? Alfonso, are you there? Mr. are you there? All right. I'm not sure what's going on with the phone. Okay, so but in a fair note, our correspondent Abu Touré did a random sampling by some of the views. And not just few, and this is not a scientific one that reflect the total aspirations or the overwhelming decisions of Grand Gedeans in Grand Jude County. So we're going to go ahead to play some of those so you will hear it. But besides that, before that, let me just go to the Liberal Progressive, Samson Branto. Samson, are you there?
So I'm here. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I think you listened to Mr. Clark and how politics in Liberia Grand Jude, and I'm quite sure the story of Grand Jude is no different from that of the story of Maryland, Bond County, and all of that. How can we undo that where finance or financial resources will, to the extent, persuade voters and will not see the lines of reasoning? How can we engage electorates to make decisions? And the reason we are having this conversation, we too should be held responsible. We should be held accountable. If we do not reach out to these people and tell them of the consequences of their decision and how it's going to impact the generation, then we should be blamed. Are we on the right path?
Thank you. Yes. But before I go to your question, I just wanted to address one or two things that our good doctor stated earlier. Those of us that are on the platform here, I believe the doctor himself will appreciate that we want to be fair and be truthful. I could come out here and pretend to be an analyst and without disclosing my connection to Mr. Nyanu and continue to speak, skew my view towards Nyanu, we should be intellectually dishonest. And I believe that would not want those kinds of things to come from people like us. So I think by us coming out here and saying who we are, give us the opportunity to speak. And I appreciate that. Now, one other thing I want to say here is the Nyanu camp, definitely, he's not a camp, he's a kid, aspiring, let's put it that way. But one of the things that he continued to insist, and he will continue to tell all of us, We're not in this to disparage, or we're not in this to bring people down, so to speak. This isn't. We're wrestling over ideas. None of these people that are running for this position are bad people, as far as I'm concerned. They are all decent sons and daughters of Grand Jida County. They're all seeking to benefit the interests of Grand Jida. However,
that's not true.
We can do more better than that. It is not our position to fight or degrade anybody's character. That's far from it. Now, having said that, let me point out one or two things as far as Mr. Nyanu is concerned. Back in some years ago, they brought in the Putu Mountain, Jida Mountain, other people call it Putu Mountain, other people call it. There was some sort of a concession document that they put together, and then they sent it over to the state, to the Grand Jida Association to look at it. And Mr. Nyanu was asked to lead a group to actually look into the concession and to come up with a recommendation as to one of these concession was beneficial to Grand Gedeans. And we came up, I was on there anyway, but we came up with a recommendation. Now, having had that opportunity to send the recommendation, whatever they do with it, we've done our job. That's one thing. Mr. Nyanu is also someone in this whole, even though he hasn't even declared yet.
Yeah, but something
in Liberia, Monrovia, he's already started putting a workshop.
Something.
Yeah. Hold on, Mr. So. Hold on.
There was a specific question that I asked.
Yeah. But before you ask your question, that's what I mean. I already have a workshop where he was able to teach Grand Gedeans the benefit of actually voting, not just for Nyanu, but to express yourself and how much important your vote is. So he's already on that route. Go ahead, ask your question.
Yeah, my question I'm having like a lot of background noise here. My question was, there was something specific Mr. Clark pointed to in terms of how people persuade votes in the country using financial resources to kind of persuade voters in decision making. I was asking, how can we undo that? And so, if you want to speak for Nyanu, that's okay. That's what.
So let me put on my liberal hat and put Nyanu issue aside and address your question. Now, how do we do away with those kinds of behavior? It is within the leadership themselves. I believe that, and it's also within the young Grand Gedeans themselves to look at something that will be for 5, 6, 7 years and not now. Instant gratification will carry you nowhere. I'll give you an example. And as an engineer, you got a road right there from Tapeta or from New Wayne all the way to the border between Grand Jida and Sino. That road has not been fixed for years and years. Simple stuff. You don't want to touch it. They put a mountain over there. Before you go to the area where they have the iron ore and stuff, you have to do a clearing. You have to take the topsoil out. The topsoil, those people pile them out. Those topsoil, if you do it right, can build you a road. You don't need quota. You don't need asphalt. You don't need quota. You just put that stuff down, grade it, compact it, and you have a decent road. These people are not willing to do that. When you do those kinds of stuff, you create job for young people. Thereby, they will not depend on the current office holder, because these young people will be having money. They will get paid. And when they get paid, they will spend the money in Grand Jida County. The money is not going to Monrovia. And that's how you create these things. And they're not going to happen overnight. These are things that we're going to have to deal with for a very long time. But we have to prepare ourselves and continue to push prosperity on a positive note, not by degrading each other.
All right. I don't know where you think politics is going to be like a white cloth.
Mr. So, you know about liberal. I do not fight with the conservative because the conservative will have nothing to offer. We liberal, we have the best. Now let's go ahead.
Okay, so, Mr. You know, are you there?
But
You know, are you
something.
there? I don't know. Your line seems to be really a problem here today. Let me just come here. Okay, so Dr. Toa, I want to play this here a little bit. If you guys, for those of you on the line there, if you can, uh, and like I said, this is a random sampling that our correspondent just to give you a kind of a signal, some of the decision making processes in Liberia as to how they come to a conclusion. Let me see there. Hopefully, we'll play, and I want you to listen, and then we can have a discussion.
For you, your name?
Juanate.
Okay. And which one is
Dojita.
Okay, so you're a resident of Georgia Town.
Of course.
So basically, we are looking at we are getting views on from about the upcoming 2020 senatorial election in Liberia,
Mm-hmm.
and Nigeria is of no exception. So we want to know, basically, you from Georgia Town,
Mm-hmm.
and we have a lot of aspirants from this district, the Bazon district.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you personally looking at that you think will deliver the people of Nigeria County?
I'm looking at So Emmanuel Pen.
Why are you looking at Open?
I'm looking at So Pen because the very first time when he Marshall was immigrant, we in the bubble, we had that or they are doing it to us. And when he came here, we told him that we were not carrying him because our son is immigrant. So for the second time, we can't deny him with a marble. It will not be good.
So now looking at that traditional aspect, also,
and secondly, So Pen, he's not from the district. But the development comes to the district. Every student of the district is so student. He can say, I'm not from Bason, and I'm not from district number 3, electoral district number 3. I will not take care of it. Any development that he does in Chien district must come to Bason.
So how you think your brothers or sisters as well who are in the race, how you think they will feel about you people who want to carry Zo who is from far near?
So it's within Grand County.
Sure, I agree.
He's a soul of Grand. So whether they feel negative or positive, my choice is So Emmanuel.
Right. So can you send any word out there to people who will be listening to him?
People that will listen to me, let us try to push so far so that he can be successful in this race.
Thank you. Something. Okay, good afternoon. Your name and your township. You call it township as well.
I live Kingston.
The name?
My name is Ben Biro.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Ben, do you have any position?
Exactly, sir. I said I was secretary for the board on the youth side.
Okay. I want us to, as we are gearing towards this 2020 election, where Nigeria again will be going to the pool to elect a senator. For me, I want to get your own view as to, who are you looking at? That's one of the aspect. And what kind of senator do you want to vote?
Okay, thank you, brother. That was my brother was saying, Jana. Now I can't go specific question now because was and my choice now, as I'm speaking now, my incoming senior center, which it will be so in my head because he was to deliver the county.
Why we have a lot of people even from this is Bazon statutory district.
Yeah.
We have other people like Amos, you name the rest. We have a lot of people.
Yeah.
Why are you looking at Honorable Penno?
Thank you.
Why decide to choose Honorable Penno?
Because the man is my choice. Yeah, I love the
Hello,
man.
Mr. So, are you getting me? I have
To myself, to my own belief, and that man, he will deliver the county.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Zabake Apollos, citizen of Senatorial Town.
Okay, Mr. K, we are looking at the elections. Any any months from now, we will be, a few months from now, we'll be going to the polls to elect a senator. And I believe a lot of aspirants been visiting Senway here. So, who do you think Gedeans should take to the upper house of legislature?
Yeah, for me, I prefer Honorable Amos Ray.
Why you prefer Honorable Amos Ray?
Amos Ray because since I've been knowing him, he is one of the men that I never voted before.
Okay.
But with all the positions he been doing something in some town that I've been monitoring.
So what are other things that you have seen him doing that you think because of that Gedeans should vote him?
Okay, Amos Ray open a farm to a village over there where a lot of time youth used to go there and get their basic thing there. And sometimes they build some market ground there, like places that's anyway. Build market ground on a project, on a taking project.
Okay.
Yes, anyway.
Okay.
And there are a lot of things inside Bazon that people been talking about.
Okay. So when you started knowing Honorable Zile?
I started knowing since 4 years.
Okay, since 4 years now. So you also have people who will be listening to the interview. What a special message you get for them? People who will be listening to you.
Yeah, talking to the people, I want to say that we need somebody who not thinking about himself alone, who thinking about the youth, how to create employment for the youth. So man, Amos there, he have that dream. You want to create some farm there where you will go and get their food.
I talked to other youth in the town today, and some of them say they are tired of voting. In fact, they don't want to vote because anybody you vote soon they get there, and you go do different things. All the promises and things you're not fulfilling. And now you are recommending Amos to Granjina to vote him to the upper house. So you are encouraging the people now in case Amos go there now, then he do different things. So what a guarantee you're about to give the people now?
Yeah, for me, I don't want to get any guarantee, but they're all right. So if you vote somebody that not do what you think he's supposed to do, you're not doing it, it can't stop you from voting for me. So anytime we're putting time reach, they are all right to cash our vote out.
Okay.
Instead, we'll show somebody that not do our view or how to do it.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Welcome to this special interview.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Your name and your organization or the background you're from?
Well, I'm Sonny Mojiru, the head of the Federation of Motorcycle and Transcycle New Olapiro, Grangida County branch.
A few months from now, we'll be going to the ballot box to elect Senator of Grangida County. How you look at the political atmosphere right now?
Well, the political atmosphere for now, things are not normal than before. We are still into the fight of the COVID-19. So as such, the political heat are not reached the level, citizen actually, analyze and say, I think the person is carrying such a weight. But how be it, we are seeing some intellectual from various political background mapping various forums or forums around here, introducing the political manifesto of their fair bearer. We yet to see because since the issue of COVID, you see the atmosphere of the political, arena are not being, that active.
So you control motorcyclists in Grangida. You also tour all of the districts, I can say. Who you think? Which one of the candidates you think people are talking about in the other part of Grangida?
Well, firstly, we Grangida County is a county comprises of 8 administrative districts.
Right.
And there's 3 electoral districts. So we are bad runners, carrying our people here and there. They are all aspirants now. Who need in the more for other people.
Right.
With the like on Zoe Maya Penum, and the like on George Pole, and the like William Krianyano, and I can say on Tomo Yaya Nimre, and Sarah Cooper.
Yeah.
Because don't need
These
continue
names,
to be
sure.
in the more for the people,
Right.
but the atmosphere and not been like active, to the point. But the only thing is that
what's your own observation?
my own observation
Probably
is
you
that
are hearing other people saying things in the corner.
yeah, well, saying this thing that the people who are in position, and when someone is incumbent or the person is in position, the person, have a lot of weight. So, and in our own mind is that the people who are not in position but now and coming, to contend with people who are in position, they need to do well.
With the names you just mentioned,
Yeah.
Let us look at who do you think, in your own opinion now, that can best represent Grand Julius County at the level of the Senate.
Yeah. Thank you very much. And they kind of say to tell you that who do you think that can best represent Grand Julius for now? Abu, the issue about it is that there are nothing strange that you bring different person to say if you go to the House of Parliament, you do anything apart from what other people have been doing there.
Right.
But the fact that the House where we committee, and more to that before you push any issue on the floor, require to tell majority.
Yeah, but Mr. Jerome, I'm very optimistic that indeed comes December 8th. I think that's the right time. In cashing your ballot, I believe you'll be cashing your ballot for one person.
So, I know. I'll
yeah,
be,
so
I'll be casting my ballot for one person.
I want us to come to that
but
point.
the father boy, we are handling our business institution.
I agree.
From the motorcycle background, this institution that is not political
right.
and not governmental.
Yeah.
It's there to serve the masses.
You also have the
and
right.
Every other politician have the right to do business with us.
And you also have the right to
and I also have my right to vote.
Yeah.
So my right to vote, when I'm speaking from the political perspective,
yeah.
I will be telling you that I'm putting on my, my intellectual jacket to defend, whosoever politician that are subscribing to their leadership ideology or political ideology.
Yeah.
But for now, as a civil society, or state actor, I can tell you that such person is more competent and I can lead Grand Julius to the best way. Because from one part, the Bible makes it clear that in the book of Psalm 75, verse 6, 7, it says, leadership not coming from the east, not from the west, but from God, who is the poor.
Right.
He promotes. So it is God who gave position to whosoever. So I can tell you that the person is better than a friend. For the father, the Constitution said, I did 35 years you can become senator.
Right.
So I don't see anybody who will below 35 years to say the person can't do it more.
Who do you think we need now as a senator? What are other abilities?
The father boy or Abu, we need someone with the heart of God.
Okay.
We need someone who is humanitarian. We need a person who is people-centered. We need the person who will come down, to the needs of the town, to the masses. And we need people, who when they come in, as soon as they get position, you don't see them, they don't face their people, they don't know, the metro affection of the people, what the people, yearning for, they don't know. But we need person who will go there, to adequately represent the people to the fullest. See, Abu, it's quite frustrating. I was so Eastern Road up to now in the 21st century. Are we people to be talking about national road, but now it's quite unfortunate.
Right.
It's very much unfortunate. And there are a lot of people who came yesterday, they make us understand they are the best. And they went there. A lot of years now, we still here to see innovation. You get me? So the issue of someone here coming for me and say, somebody Jerome, and I will pay you a horse or two. That is not the interest of the masses. You get me? I did create a tangible legacy. See the beautiful street of Grand Julius or Sweru City. This is a thing that was so fast. But the late President told, and today, many of residents of Grand Julius County who are not Grand Julius, who are not Liberian citizens, residing in Grand Julius, enjoying the beautification of Frederick. You see that? So why are we saying, can't you provide a good bill that provide job opportunity for the young people? Even I tell you what, we are living in a kind of country where we found ourselves that economy wise and developmental wise, we are in slavery.
Right.
Because why will you have a higher learning institution, more especially the Grand Julius Community College, is here putting out or graduate every year. And you see, there are no industry for the people to work. Even though they stay one university, how many or industry, how many companies in Liberia to incorporate people are working out of the wall every night there. It's quite unfortunate. So they say, oh, Abu is better than Sonny Boy is better than Abu. Why? So what different Abu is speaking on the table? You get me? But we as taxpayer, we are paying or slap in our faces because we are paying the government taxes and we have to see development. No.
Okay.
All right. Welcome to this special
All right,
interview.
gentlemen, are you guys there?
Yes.
Are
Yes,
you
sir.
there?
We are here.
Okay.
Yes.
We are
Okay.
here. We are
Yes,
here.
we
I'm
are
here.
there.
This is Mark.
Okay, good. All right. This is what we are gathering, and there are more. We have the video version. At some point in time, they're going to surface. Somebody who has not participated, Mr. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I
Okay.
hope you're hearing me.
Yeah, good. All right. Let me just bring you in here. Then I will go to some of the people. You listen to the samplings of some of the electors. You listen to your colleagues, those on the conversation here as well. What is lacking at this is, do you see there as something necessary for us to do, and not just only to poke in the eyes of the executive branch of government, but those people that will also elect them must be held accountable, and those who even make the decisions in electing them, they also must be held accountable, because we potentially live with the consequences of their decision, their political decision. So it's no time now to say that's the people thing, is all of us thing. You listen to some of these electors, you listen to the conversation. This last gentleman, we were quite fascinating. Where are we heading?
Yeah, I think you make very good points. First of all, I want to say hi to, I know some of the people on the panel. I've met them, so I want to say hi to everybody. I think you made a very two really key points. One of the important points is that elections do have consequences. So the electoral decisions we make impact our lives, and they impact our lives for some time. In this case, for the Senate, it will probably be for 9 years, and for members of the House of Representatives, it's going to be 4 years. I think there are a few things lacking to answer your question directly. I think our people need to be educated. They need to understand what the role of their leaders are. In this case, what the role of their legislators are. I think that has been twisted over the years. So legislators, politicians, leaders, superintendents, for that matter, our people have come to understand them as quote unquote fathers of the country, or fathers of the county, or fathers of the district, who are supposed to bring them cups of rice, pin their pictures on buckets and give it to them, send their children to pay their children tuition, and bury their dead, etc., etc., etc. I think that mentality needs to change, and it needs to come from our people. You referenced the last speaker, and that's very profound. The last speaker had
The
the last
motorcycle.
interview had Motorcyclists Association. What does the Motorcyclists Association want or need to be able to succeed? To grow its business, to help its members. And I'm saying this to say that civil society organizations, labor and trade unions, such as the Motorcyclists Association, such as youth group, women's group, professional bodies, need to clearly define what it is that they want. We need to really transcend uh, um, ethnicities. We need to transcend what district we come from. We need to transcend the towns we come from. Really start looking at what it is and who the candidates are that will impact our lives. For example, let's take again the Motorcyclists Association. Which candidate in the race is currently talking about improving business? Is currently talking about getting small loans to the people? Is currently even talking about the government, the Ministry of Planning and Development, Finance Planning and Development, the Ministry of Youth and Sports, helping to provide small loans to grow the Motorcyclists Association, to grow the Marketing Association. He also mentioned the community college, of which I'm very passionate about. And I've joined with some friends here to really form the Friends of Grand Jita County Community College to help the community college. There was a time where where the nursing school in the college was closed down because it didn't meet standards. He talked about how our young people graduate from the college and don't get jobs. Well, do you know why they don't get jobs? Because the politicians have not worked towards creating jobs. Additionally, the college is teaching things, is teaching courses, and is training people to jobs that are not available in the region. I don't see why the community college in Grand Jita shouldn't be teaching woodwork, shouldn't be teaching agriculture, shouldn't be teaching. We have a lot of timber companies in the county, in the region, teaching people. So that they can be trained to the jobs, to the economy that exists in the area. So primarily, when it comes to the election, I think we all need to do a better job at educating our people. That's the way I think we can take money out of this process. You will not eliminate money out of politics at all. It's all over the world, but you will eliminate to some extent welfare and charity politics. The kind of politics that goes and gives people bags of rice when it's election time, the kind of politics that takes zinc to the old people. I was talking to somebody, one of the campaigns. I don't want to name the campaign. She was affiliated with a campaign, and she was telling me that for a week, every morning, they will count money in a room and package it and go from village to village and dole out money to people in those villages to vote for them. How about we take that money and put it into education? How about we take that money and build cause an elementary school to be built? How about we take that money and make primary education free so that those people don't come to us for scholarship? I think it was Mr. Sampson who mentioned earlier the issue of scholarships. How many people can we really get scholarships? But if we were to direct the money into education, maybe we'll cover everybody with free education, free primary education. So
Okay.
these are the things that I think professionals like all of us and organizations need to focus on in order to change the trajectory of our welfare / charity politics.
Okay. All right. There you have it. Mike Down, are you there? Mike Down. Mike Down, are you hearing
Yes,
me?
I'm hearing you, Alfonso.
Okay. Thank you. Mike Down is
Yeah,
based.
I just uh, uh, hello.
Yeah. Go ahead quickly.
I just want to ask. Um, I just want to add. I mean, ask Mr. He was talking about uh charity politics. Are you also not considering the level of poverty in our country? Because taking into consideration the way in which politicians parade with parade themselves with the constituents, don't you think this is responsible for that? Because you talk about charity politics. Because many of our people, they are very poor.
Mhm. I think charity politics both ways, whether from the voters or from the politicians, perpetuates poverty. Because I'm poor, so give me a bag of rice, give me a few cups of rice, and I'll vote for you. Well, I vote for you, you become the senator, the representative, president, and you do nothing to take me out of poverty. How does that help me? It only feeds me for a day or maybe for a week, if that. So we need to obviously, definitely need to get away from this whole concept of charity politics and begin to focus on what it is that is sustainable. What's going to get my life going? I would like some of these politicians that want to be charitable to take seedlings, rice seedlings, for example, or to take cassava tubers and give it to the people to plant. So instead of taking cups of rice or pusawa rice from America or from Pakistan or whatever and giving it to them, why don't you take cocoa and coffee seedlings and give it to them? That's how you address their poverty situation. If you give them a few cups of rice today and they eat it, well, they'll come to you tomorrow again for a few cups of rice. And I think this is deliberate. It's a deliberate action by politicians to keep the people dependent upon them so that the people can be loyal to them. If I give you 10 cups of rice today and it's finishing, and you come to my house and sit in front of my house for additional 10 cups of rice, well, when I ask you to vote for me or to do anything for me, you would do it because you won the 10 cups of rice? Am I helping you? Am I helping your kids? Again, Mr. Samson Brown mentioned earlier, how many kids can each politician actually put on scholarship versus advocating in the legislature for primary education to be
But
free?
they
So
don't have
all
the
of
money.
our kids at
The money.
primary level.
Mr. One may be saying the money is not there because most of those politicians they don't have the contact to ensure that people get on scholarships.
Okay,
So it's
The
quite
money is
difficult.
there.
yeah, okay, Mike.
And they
Let me
don't
do
give
this,
us
Mr.
that. No,
Let me
no,
do
I
this.
disagree.
Yeah? Hello.
I disagree. The money, I
Yeah,
disagree.
Mr.
I
Hold on.
disagree. The money is
Hold on
there.
one
Take for
second.
instance.
Yeah, hold on one
Yeah.
second. Let me just come back. I don't want my the group to lose sight of what we're talking about there because these tips and audio that will play here they are very key to the process. Let me just start from Mr. Toe. 1 minute, Mr. Toe, are you there? And then I'm going to roll it down the road
Yeah,
here.
yes, I am, Mr. So.
Did you listen to these audios that were just playing from inside Grand Jida, potential voters?
Yes, yeah, they're very interesting, but I think that's exactly what Mr. Was just talking about. Poverty voting. That's exactly what it is. You heard a young lady said they just reminded me about the graduate. The man tried for almost 3-4 years. He went in here. So today he tried, they'll vote for him anyway. That's the kind of stuff. So you heard the young lady was saying, Mr. Ben Peno, Honorable Zopen have tried during Marshall Darren time, and now it's his turn. So, but those are the people that we have to distribute, to be honest with you. We're going to actually, even if you're against Mr. Zopen politically now, I'm not talking about personal issue, but if you're against Mr. Honorable Zopen political activities and what have you, your job is not to go against Mr. Peno, Honorable Peno, but your job is to use that opportunity to educate the voters. Because I think the issue that we're having right now, for which already the video you play is a lengthy one, but they all continue to, they point to one fact, and that is person who they gravitate towards, somebody who they think they have done something. And the question you continue to ask these people, if Mr. Amos who happen to be my own first cousin, if he builds schools in Town, which is for the black people, what happened in Quinnable district? What happened to the other districts that he's most likely going to be representing a graduate senator? That is not the kinds of politics that will work for us. You want to empower the people themselves. Because they're telling you, go and be my voice. They're giving you the power to be their voice. Even if you don't have the opportunity to pass a bill, you can negotiate with other people from South. Now, let's go back to the law issue. The law is not just affecting from Ganta all the way to whatever between Granjin and Sano County. It's bad. So the entire southeastern is being affected by the major highway. When it's raining, we're not going anywhere. So those are the kinds of stuff. First of all, you have to recognize these things. And Mr. Yaro being an engineer, I'm not trying to preach for you on this one here, but being an engineer knows exactly how to conduct himself when he's having conversation with these people when it comes to the road issue. And this is
your 1 minute is over. Let me go to let me go to Mr. Boad, and I'll come to Dr. Toa. Mr. Boad, are you there?
Yes, so I'm here. I listen to
you listen to the audio.
The various, the audio. I listening to it tentatively, and I heard. You see, like we are all saying is because of the ignorance of our people, so they tend to gravitate towards somebody who is feeding them for today. But what will you eat tomorrow if that person does not have the money to feed you tomorrow? So our problem, our politicians, those that are aspiring for leadership, they need to look at the desire of our people to be empowered, create job opportunities, create the opportunities that will make the people to be empowered by themselves so that they will do things on their own and not depending on you. Because if you are not there tomorrow, what do they do? You see, so we need to educate our people. That's the first thing. tell them, why are you voting for this person? Like the committee, the interviewer asking. And the very people have their own reasons why they want to keep somebody in power. But essential reason for which we need to have these people in power, they tend not to understand it. Because what we need is facilities that everybody will have access to. Road connectivity in the county. Today we can't go to Grand Jira because it's raining. If you are going there, you spend 2 to 3 days on the road before you get there. You have to ride a motorbike. If you have your own car, you can go. So we need these people to understand that that is what we need, medical facilities. If people are sick, how do they get to the hospital? You see, so our politicians need to be challenged before we can elect them to power. Let us know their platform. Like Mr. Yetno was saying, you let us not do this charity politics. Give somebody food today because you want him to elect you. That will continue to destroy our county or our country when it comes on the general level. So we are hearing them, but they are not really going to the point for which we want to elect people. So let's try to educate them to get them to know when you are electing somebody, electing for what that person is planning to do. When government make budget, they allocate finances. There are appropriation for the road development. As a senator, as a representative, you need to follow up on these things to know how these projects are being managed. You see, if government contracted a loan from World Bank, and that loan is for the construction of a road from Tabata to Puerto, and after 1 year, the road has not even taken up. Why are you sitting there as a senator? You don't want to go after and go to the government and find out, look, we receive a loan for $40 million to build the road from Tabata to Grand Jide. What is happening? Well, you are there in the government, and yes, government said we received this loan from the donor agency. What happened to these loans? So our senators need to be challenged, or our representative, our lawmakers need to be challenged. Let them not just wait and sit and wait for government to do everything. You have to challenge the government. You have to make sure that when loans are allocated, because you approve this loan when they are allocated, because you have to pay for that in the long run. Why sit and wait?
Okay.
That is what is disturbing us. Thank you.
All right. Let me come to
There's no high.
Yeah, I'm coming to you, Mr. Dolo, right after Dr. Towale. I'll be coming to you. Or you want to take off? You want to make a statement before you want to leave, or?
No, go ahead.
Okay, let me just go to Dr. Toa. Dr. Toa.
Yes, well, thank you.
This is, I know you're going to come in here. You listen to this. You look at the realities of actual happening on the ground, the kind of life that people are living. A man with a family of maybe 10, 15, he's thinking where he's going to eat today, what the children going to even wear to go to school. And then somebody else is coming and say, okay, but this is this idea here, it's going to help you in 4 or 5 years to now. Now it becomes a choice of preference. Should I take what is unknown in 4 or 5 years time, or should I take what is available before me now? How can we cycle this from this sort of concept and understanding the high skill poverty, high way of living in our country? How can this make up to make some good decision?
Well, thank you. I think from the sampling that was done that you play, clearly shows that we have a lot of work to do when it comes to voters' education. And I was making a remark sometimes ago, maybe a couple of days ago, and I said this was not the status quo before. Before the war, I remember, if someone is running for any position, if they go to any town or any village, and they are good people express support for them. People kill cow, goat, and for them as a way of expressing their support for them. But this time around, people expect to receive from people who have the desire to want to aspire for a position. So there's a flipping of the coin there. However, from what we just heard from our people on the ground, it really shows that we have a lot of work to do. But I think we need to engage a new deal. By that, I mean all of us as individual citizens, we have a responsibility to educate our people, our chiefs, our traditional people, our students, even if it means that we include in our curriculum. And I think the nation has to look at what is happening is not unique for Grand Jide. It covers the entire country, where I think schools need to consider the possibility of teaching civics and in the teaching of civics to have a particular a topic about voter education. That is very important. The nation is in trouble. The way things are going for the past since after the war, we are headed in the wrong direction. So we need to do that. The second thing is that the Elections Commission just can't pay blind eye to this. Our society is not as sophisticated as the Western society. We have our own uniqueness. And so the body that is charged with the conduct of elections need to carefully look at the prevailing circumstances that is producing results that are not working for the people. Probably they have some responsibility in terms of educating the voters. There's a need to look at what role can they play as well. Even I know on the watchful eyes of the Elections Commission, when I was in Liberia, I know that there were some aspirants. When it's time to do voter registration, they would take certain people from other popular areas and move them to certain areas to register them. Say, for example, we bus people from Monrovia and take them to Grand Jide, for example. And I saw this happen and have people to register there who are not even Grand Gedeans. And the authorities sit down, nobody says anything. These are corruption in themselves. So I think the whole process need to have for us to do a rethinking of how do we go ahead with regard to the Liberian scenario. I know the democratic process is open, can copy from America, but Liberia has its own uniqueness, and the condition we should find ourselves requires certain intervention to set us. So basically, I think what we listen to shows that we have some problems. We need to find a way to solve these problems. And let me just quickly say, my young little brother, I've not seen you for many, many years. Because, I've not seen you many years. Good to see you here.
Good to see you, sir. Good to see you. It's been a long time.
And Molly Dulu also at the other end.
Absolutely. Honorable Dulu.
Yeah. You see, that's the beauty of this network too. Sometimes we make a reunion to just happen, abruptly like that. Okay, let me go to Mr. Dolu in UK. Mr. Dolu, are you there? Mr. Molly Dolu.
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is what you listen to, not me, not my creation. And I think Abu we're trying to connect, but he's telling us here is heavily pouring into in Grand Jide County, and we got to do this to all of the counties as long we have the resources, especially where we have our correspondent, because I think this is a very serious thing. And like what Dr. Toa was saying here, it is not different from Sano, it's not different from Nima and other places. But Mr. Dolu, if you listen to your brothers and sisters in Grand Jide, who are going to be really affecting the decision that some of us will be here, some people not going to be going, some people might not have the ability to vote based on their status. That's not what I'm going to go. But when you look at this here, how can one change this sort of what is happening? How can you approach it, and how can you resolve it? Because people they need immediate change to their problem.
Yes, to be very frank, is a pity, according to everything I listen to from the ground, because these people are thinking that because Marshall Dennis and then men voted, and then we didn't carry him. Now that his time. Now they meant that his time, but if you carry him, Can he speak on your behalf to complete the payment of your road? We need an engineer to liaise with Public Works, to liaise with the World Bank, to make sure the road reach the ground get paved, so that companies will go over there and create jobs. Okay? Though the people on the ground, whether we maybe we'll translate this thing into the vernacular and tell them which direction to really take. We need to educate our people. They need voter education in the various vernacular of Grand County.
Yeah, but besides the voter education, there are other things that should accompany it. This is the man who needs food for his wife and children today, and you're telling him, "Come and educate you to vote right." And in 4 or 5 years' time, believe me, when you elect my person, everything gonna be okay. They may not even sure whether the next day gonna meet him because he doesn't have anything to eat for that day. How do you deal with such a problem?
Well, it's difficult. The ground, the Kennedys, and the mentality of our people. I don't know what we're going to do. And for us, we are far away from home, but we got aspiration about which route they should take to make it better, but they will not listen to us. They will do what they want to do. So when come, you buy drummer King Use. They put during King Use, they vote for him. When he come to the other people, get 500 US, get $2 million Liberian dollars. I mean, the $2 million Liberian dollars is only for 1 week, then it's finished. But I don't know how we can handle this, Mr. So.
Okay,
sorry.
Okay, now you're going to be the best person. Probably your campaign going to focus on that. But let me come to Mr. Justice Randall Clark. He went through this process here, and I will be going back to Dr. Toa. There's another appointment that maybe for his final comment before we can go. But Clark, let me just bring you in here. I saw you, wiping your hairs here. I believe there's some bit of some reflection. Let me welcome my own friend and brother, Kwame Opa Weiss, the Director General of the Liberian News Agency, monitoring, as a matter of fact, that your boss. You there to whacking your hairs, like, oh, now, Mr. So, you believe in what I was saying. This is not my creation. This is a real time. This is not a reality. A real time something done by us and our. And you listen to the questions. Abu asked some real valid questions. Can we change this sort of narrative?
Yeah. It's difficult to change because it has got entrenched in the system, unfortunately. I mean, I'll tell you my personal story. I'm going to do that very briefly. During my campaign in 2017, I assembled my executives and other supporters. Look, a lady, a baby mama, was brave enough to tell me without any iota of, shame or whatsoever. She said, look, this time around, I got some of my friends who want to come on your camp, but the other man who won first, he gave money, we voted for him. So this time around, we can't vote for somebody, well, we not get anything from them. So we will get money before we vote. So I said, hey man, my guy, I'm sorry, but I'm not here to share money to people. I'm here as a young man. I'm just like you. So what I'm saying, if it doesn't make sense to you, don't vote me. But if it makes sense to you, then vote me. And if you say you not vote because somebody hurt you and they not come back to you, then it means you will not be preparing a better future for this little boy you're holding. So that's the reality on the ground. And I said this before, to put this to an end, there needs to be a conscious grand jury community or a committee made up of people from the diaspora and people in the county or in Liberia that will be I don't want to say non-political because obviously the whole thing will be political, but I mean a centralized committee that will be concerned about educating our people on what to do. But like, look at this election. We are just 3 months and a half away from the election. I mean, if I'm not making a mistake, and we still have this kind of thing at our hand that if we are not careful, we will be electing somebody who has no record
no record of calling a press conference to discuss national or county issue. So for me, sometimes when I sit alone, I feel sorry for our county. Why should we continue to be like this? Why should our county politics be polarized and dollarized? In fact, trust me, I'm going to write a book about this one day, that we need total redemption, because this is not democracy. This is moneycracy. So it hurts enough to see that our people in the rural, in the rural parts of the county, they don't really care. I don't know whether it's electricity or is what, but many of them, I don't want to say all, but many of them do not really care as to the role of a legislator, or the role of somebody who wants to become a president, or the role of somebody who wants to take any elected position. All they care is that who gives more. When you come and give $10, and then I come and give $50, whether I'm a fuller man, they will choose me because I give much. Now, if you see what's happening in the few days out of desperation, you will see Representative Zopenu distributing baby top, for example, baby top to baby mother. How does that connect to the reality? Look, my father Samson told say, he's a conservative. He's not going to call people name and all of that. But we have to put it straight.
No, that man, he's not a conservative.
We have to put it straight.
He's a liberal.
Even though I have not endorsed anybody yet, but we have a situation at hand, and that situation, regrettably, is open. If we are not careful, our country will only be electing somebody who wants to pension himself at the detriment of the people's lack of many of us, our lack of understanding as to election issues. So we have to stand up, whether you're supporting X, whether you're supporting Y, whether you're supporting A. My concern as a young Nigerian who took part in an election with no fear whatsoever, though I had no money, but I saw myself, I currently see myself as a winner. People say, oh, you lost the election. I didn't lose the election. I won the election because I ensure that my aspiration was realized, and people in the entire election, people will.
Okay. All right. Let me go to Dr.
He doesn't have money.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Let me go to Dr. Toa. You got to be taking leave of us yet. Dr. Toa, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Democracy, moneycracy, Justin Clark creating something here. Now, which one are we prioritizing? Are they all going together simultaneously? So which one we're going to prioritize? But on a serious note here, you listen to this, but the reality is also there that the destitution, so the desperation people are living of today. You can't say I'm just not going to pay attention to it. It makes it very difficult. So we are like a piece of cloth now between the scissor, and we are very careful how to pull the scissor through the cloth. This is a trouble. You don't think so?
Indeed, and I, all of us on the panel, did speak about the problem we have. At hand, it's a problem, and we all know disrespect to our people on the ground, the electorates. The thing is that they have their own priority. And they live the reality on the ground. So whether we like it or not, their priority will dictate how they vote. But I think we also have a responsibility. Sadly, many of us in the panel here, we are not in Liberia to vote. We're not in the county to vote. But we have a responsibility to provide a new direction for our people. There's a problem. We recognize, even those on the ground themselves, they recognize it, but they can't help it. Because we need to break new ground. And so this is where you have come in at the appropriate time by what you do, and by what all of us join together will do, will help our county. But certainly it's a problem. It's a big problem, not only for Grenada, but for the entire country. And I think the government that is of the people and for the people and by the people, the government had to see it as a problem and to provide a direction, not only for the county, it's the whole thing for the entire country. And there's a problem if we're not mindful, we'll consume the country. And so I just want to encourage all of us by what we do, people we talk to see this as a national problem, and what can be done to address it nationally, along with the way people vote, also the way people corrupt the electoral process. We need to look at that also, where people will truck people from other places and carry them to other locale, other constituency, and have them register when they're not even from those places. It's a miscarriage of the vote. So these things need to be looked into holistically. So that's it, brothers, and it's a pleasure. And let's keep the ball rolling. Thank you for the great job.
Okay, I don't think can you on planet Earth throw yourself in this sort of political ground that is unfolding? Can you afford doing that?
Well, I mean, if I were home, I would do that. I mean, I would make myself available to give my people the opportunity if I so desire. And I think I can better serve our country too. But I mean, again, and by getting involved, we provide a platform to continue with the education process. And I'm grateful that my young brother, Clark, was able to get in the process. And by participating, he was able to provide some direction, provide education for some of the people that listen to him. So it's a process that need to be engaged with. Probably over time, and as the condition improve, people get settled down and then to look in the right direction.
Okay.
But for now, we are in trouble.
Okay, Dr. Toa, I want to thank you so much, and I understand you have to go. You have to do what you're supposed to do, but I thank you. We will, from time to time, tap into your expertise, not just for Grenada, but for our country, with such a vast experience, public policy, and all of that. I think that's the kind of conversation that we need as a people, as a nation. And hopefully, somebody will wake up, say, you know what, I'm a change man today because I heard something from Dr. Toa and other folks on LPR. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, folks.
All right. Okay. So that we're going to be leaving us. Let me just bring in all of our guys here. Mr. Boa is here. Let me bring in other folks. Okay. So Emmanuel.
Yes.
Okay. So with this here now, I think we begin to get a sense of where we are heading as a people, as a country. And as people, as Green Gedeans. And we have more of this. Some are in video. We're going to display that at some point in time, and more still to come because we're trying to bring even Abu on. But according to what we are hearing, is heavily pouring in Grand Gide right now. So, what should the conversation be like? You listen to this. It's not a makeup. It's real. People are living with it. So why the conversation? How do you even approach such a situation? Because most of these people, their mindset is already there. So they already make up their mind before even Mr. A declare his or her intention that they're going to be contesting. We're carrying you. And when they say they're carrying you, forget it. Nothing else can carry them back. They got to carry you until they reach you.
Yes, Mr. So thank you very much. Like Justice said in the beginning that our people don't care. I think they do care, but it's because of the reality on the ground, like Dr. Toa just said, that they have to respond to issue based on what they see right in front of them. So it's difficult, but we need to continue the process of educating our people that you don't just vote because this person came and made a donation to you for today. No. Let us look at the situation that will come tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. Who is well prepared to make sure that your problems are solved, that you have some medical facilities in your town or your district, that the roads are getting better.
But what is the guarantee? First of all, is that a rule? What is the guarantee for somebody to even come say I want to bring metal? Is that realistic approach? Let's be honest here.
Yeah, Mr. So, if you are a legislator, you sit there, the government prepares a budget that comes through the legislature for approval. And in that budget, you will find out that there are facilities given to other counties that did not go to your county. Wouldn't you question?
Exactly.
Yeah, you will, because that's what you need to do.
Okay, then back to Clark point, because there are two of those that are already there now, and we have to look at these the records of these people. What has been the argument in both houses with respect to what is coming to Grand Judah, and if it is coming there, is it reaching? And if it is reaching, who are those that are receiving, and perhaps is that being implemented? So I don't want to cut the cake. Clark, you're going to speak to that. But I think he made it crystal clear. These people are there, and we are not
let me speak to that briefly. Let me speak to that briefly. I said, and I mean, I continue to say this. You are already a representative from 2006, or you just won. I mean, 2017. This is the third year you became representative. Why do you want to go to the Senate? That's a question. That's a big question. It's simply because they want to personally perpetuate themselves at the detriment of the people. Why? Maybe because they see it as a job and they don't see it as a privilege to serve. And some of them want to pension themselves at the detriment of the people, because they realize that besides that job, they cannot do anything because there's no investment, there's no human resource development where they can base on to say, yeah, this is what I've done. Maybe I can bring in investors. There's nothing like that. So you just want to ride on the people with money. At the end of the day, you are in power for the rest of your life. That's what some of them want.
Yes.
So are you going to call these people? Will you call them out, Clark?
Well, I've been calling them out a long time ago. I said Representative Zoe Penu does not even merit being a representative in the first place. So how can he say he's going to the Senate? Because there is somebody who has no track record, of introducing important legislation, or somebody who's watching for his people. If things are going against Grand Judah, you don't even find the guy calling a press conference to address certain national or county or district issues. It's not just about being a representative or unsung representative. It's about being a representative who will be there for the people in terms of national lawmaking, proffering discussions that will benefit the most ordinary, the everyday citizen in your district, and sometimes everybody in the country. But lawmaking is not about sharing money. It's not about sharing baby top. It's not about killing cows every day. For that reason, now Malians the cows will be fighting the Malians when they're bringing them from Guinea or from Mali, because they know there's somebody in Grand Judah who is in a habit of killing innocent cows.
Okay.
Right. No, this is really serious. Sometimes we are passionate about these things because of what our people go through. If you come to Liberia, you go to Zweju, we are in Morovia. Look, if you go to Grand Judah, if you see poverty, if you go to someplace, I went to Badajan, I nearly cried. As a young man, I was in Badajan. I took my school fees from Badajan. I used to go there weekly. If you go there now and see young people being intoxicated, what are the programs? You see young people, they don't even know what will happen to them in the next minute. Some of us, we fought hard, we struggled to come out of that. And today we are going back to say, look, this is the way forward. So all of us need to join and end this right here.
Okay. Yeah, Boa, then I will be going to the Liberal Progressive, and then I'll come to Mr. Yeah, go ahead. I know you are making your point, but I want to hear to respond.
Okay, yes. I agree with him on the point of saying, why do you want to ascend to the Senate when you already have a position in the House? Why do you want to go to the Senate? I think that's a question that people need to ask them when they get to them. Why do you need to go to the Senate? What can you do in the House that you want to do in the Senate? Like Clark said, the only difference between the Senate and the House is that when you are a senator, you confirm people who are being appointed by the president. That's all. That's the only difference. But you make laws, and your law, when you make them, they will come back to the House, or the House will send us to the Senate for ratification. So I agree with him on that point. The only thing I'm having problem with is that our people don't care. No, they do care about what is happening to them. But because they don't have the means, and these people will come and fool them with the monocracy, as you said, so they take the monocracy instead of democracy. Because they feel that at that moment, this person is helping me. So I don't want to know about the other person who is not coming around. Like you rightly said, you contested, but you never had the funds to convince the people because you needed to convince them with money. And you never had it. So they told you, no, we can't vote for you if you don't give us anything, which is wrong.
Okay.
You know.
All right. All right. The Liberal Progressive.
Thank you, Mr. So.
Are you nervous from what you are hearing, because we have tons of videos and audio here, and all what we have been hearing here from these folks that was a redundant interview is Zopenon. He have, hold on, I'm coming. I'm driving to a point. Now, people with this sort of set mind from Sister River Bridge to beyond, getting to Kavala and its surrounding with this kind of set mind, how can you change that,
Mr. So? Ula mon plomia with I fan in my job my plomia with I fan in your last I do. I don't say plomia or mon plomia. What I'm fan boy. But let me address you. My brother. Look, this is a very serious problem. It's a very serious problem what is happening in Grand Jide. And as the good doctor stated, this is not unique to Grand Jide. And these are things that we have to seriously look into these things and make sure these things. Look at Mr. Clark as he was talking. He's very pained. I mean, you can tell from his expression because he knows very well. People about his age are also going through a serious trouble. They're traumatized. And when he looks around, he doesn't see any help. And these people are supposed to, it's not so much of you giving your own personal money. But if you can even get involved, the government at the end of every year, they give grant a certain amount of money for a development fund. What happened to this fund? My understanding, they got 42 persons that are supposed to be managing that fund. How is that going to be possible? This is why you need leadership. This is why you need leadership to come in and help. I'm not saying that Mr. Nyanu is going to come and he's going to be the fix all. No. But he also have track record. And we know this. Some of us have worked with him. And he not that we agree with him on many things, but he wants to make sure that corruption, as far as he's concerned, this is not something that he wants to participate in. Okay. Let's just look at Grand Jide again. Okay. Going back to the road situation, you want development in the country. Since 12 years now, going to 14 years, why is this one road hasn't been fixed? Why is it that there's communities that are connected to Zwedu don't even have a good feeder road? What happened? The last time, Mr. So, we saw the superintendent during rainy season trying to create a road on added way using a front end loader to put a road down. Now, if Mr. Nyanu and other people are involved, people who have the engineering background will say you can't do this kinds of stuff. And this is what will happen if you do it. We don't have anything like that. They're building a road. They're supposed to build a road from Zleta all the way to Bo. When I went home, I contacted the people and said, let me see the plan. Like Brother Mel said, they started dodging me. They don't want me to see it. But if you have a representative, a permanent representative that will insist to public work, let's see your design. Let's see how do you control the water that's supposed to be on the road. What is your drainage plan? Nyanu will do that because he knows these things. You know very well. The problem about Liberian road, not that you don't have a good road, but they don't know how to manage the water that comes off the road. And so the water pour the road and mess the whole thing up. If you have somebody, permanent representative with those kinds of knowledge, they will be able to convince other senators that are being affected, and they will come out as a group and be able to implement certain policy. The government is just the executive. But if you approach the executive with a concrete plan, they will listen to you. But we don't have that. And this is what we want to change. One of the things Mr. Nyanu keeps saying, I want to make sure if I'm successful, when I'm successful in getting in there, that Grand Jide County becomes the envious of all county in Liberia. Because we will make sure that Grand Jide County the young people, young Nigerians in America, all over the world, will be anxious to go home and establish business over there. Because if you have a businesses that is going to be established in Nigeria, and you have a network of road where the people can go to Plo, can go to Total any time of the day and sell and bring and make money. That's everything. That's everyone. Every one of us want to make money. But if you don't have the means and you don't have the infrastructure to carry those things up, you're going nowhere. You got Nigerians here in the diaspora. Money people, most of you young people, working, making good money. You don't think people want to take their money and go back to Granji there? Well, how is it going to go? Even if they want to buy zinc from Monroe, they can't do anything until dry season. Is that what you're going to be waiting for? Is that what we want as Granji all the time? And then we're going to sit down here. If that's what it is, that's fine. I can assure you this, though. Most of the people that are running to be senator, if 1 year continue to fail, these people will have food on their table. They're not going to go hungry. But it's your brothers and sisters. We, the Liberian diaspora, the Granadian diaspora, the weight is on us at all times. Because you can't sit down here and let your sister suffer. You can't sit down here and let your relatives suffer. So right now, we got two tables. We got table in the diaspora that we put food on, and we got table back home that we put food on. So this is why we have to come together and continue to insist we want ideas. Don't give me money right now. Don't feed me right now when you know you're not going to feed me tomorrow. So, Mr. So, I'm going to take leave of you and say thank you very much. I'm very much happy this evening that you allow the liberal view to conquer your conservative view without you uttering anything. I appreciate that. For once, liberal is a winning program this evening on your show. I respect that. For the conservative guy to allow the liberal to express himself freely, I really, really respect that. And I want to thank you very much.
I can tell you are a coward because you are about to exit, so you think you're just going to make a statement and walk away. But I'm going to get you back here. All right, that's something Brown told.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we're going to be wrapping all here shortly. But let me go to. Thank you so much, Samson. You can take leave of us. That's okay. Let me go to Mr. Yinon. Mr. Yinon.
Yes, sir. I'm here.
This problem is not limited to Grand Jide. That I can tell you. I talked to we're going to be getting a correspondent from Grand Crew as well. Is that Grand Crew or Grand Says? What is the counting now? These creations is always overnight.
Grand Crew.
Grand Crew. And yeah, and the information I'm getting there is like, okay, but then Grand Jide is better. And then when I get information from Grand Jide, I say Grand Crew is better. What should be our responsibility? Politicians alone cannot change this. Mr. Clark is a living witness because he went through the process and things that he said in the past. This audio that we play here has validated his argument. How the heck on this planet Earth you can live from here with whatever idea, blue plane, red plane, yellow print you carry, and these people there, they have a different mindset.
Mm-hmm. So you're right. Everybody has said it's a big problem. However, and I want to say that politicians are not going to change it because it's not in their interest to change it. To change it means that they will not do what they do best, which is go and buy votes. The change has to come from us. It has to come from civil society. It has to come from the media. It has to come from people like Mr. Clark, who tried, tested the heat, and is now outside. But it will happen when we engage and when we remain engaged. It will not happen overnight because it's about changing people's mindsets. It's about, as you said, people are hungry now and telling them, well, you're hungry now, but we will make things better tomorrow. Here's what I would say to them. If you're really hungry now and you're really sick now, or you really need buckets now, and this politician is bringing you rice and medicine buckets, take it. Take them. After all, they're your money. When they pay themselves $13,000 a month and $15,000 a month, it's your money that they would otherwise have invested in education, that they otherwise would have invested in healthcare, that they are taking onto themselves and then coming to you with pittances. They're coming to you with peanuts of your own money. Take it, but you don't have to vote for them. And it falls on us. You are playing that role. We all should play that role. As I've always said, when people run for political office, the two things that they could accomplish. You could win the office that you run for and make change through that, or you might not win the office, but your message can resonate. And please continue and remain engaged in terms of articulating that message. If we articulate the message today in this election cycle, and then we leave and wait for another election cycle, guess what? We will not make the kind of impact and the kind of change that we are supposed to make. Third thing I would say is that everywhere, all over the world, money plays a role in politics, especially in electioneering politics. Let's not fool ourselves. One of the ways, therefore, we can change this is to identify people, politicians who are running for office, and to contribute to them. Once we realize that they believe in our views, that they believe in what we believe in, that we're on the same ideological platform, and that they will listen to us when they get elected, then we should support them so that they win and therefore articulate what it is that we want them to accomplish while in office. Because even the people with the best message still need money, still need resources to articulate that message, to make sure that their message gets to the people who are supposed to hear the message and vote for them. So we all still need to be engaged. And as I said before, and that's why I'm in civil society, I think the real change in Liberia will be brought about through civil society organizations, through youth, through young people, through women's, through businesses, people. Take labor unions for instance in this country. Labor unions raise money to support candidates. They endorse candidates. They knock doors for candidates. Take student and youth groups, they do that. Take women's groups, they do that. They do that because they know that when these candidates win, these candidates will actually fight for and articulate what it is that they believe in. The biggest legislation, the biggest and most consequential legislation that the legislature makes is the budget. So legislators come to us and say, we are lawmakers, we are lawmakers. Guess what? The biggest law they make every year is the national budget. That's what impacts everybody's lives. And the way our legislators can impact our lives at the county level and at the district level is to look at the budget and say, I want money in this budget for Grand Jada County Community College. I want money in this budget for Zwedru Multilateral High School. I want money in this budget to build a road from Tabita to Zwedru or from Ganta to Zwedru. But if they stand alone, so if the legislators from Grand Jita, for instance, or one senator from Grand Jita stands alone, guess what? Their chances of impacting the budget will be slim. So here's what people do. Nimba will get impacted if the road was built. Sino gets impacted if the road was built. River G and Maryland and Grand Crew get impacted on the road. So then the bill, for instance, a clique of those legislators from those places, and they can actually hold the budget hostage and say, we will not vote for this budget to pass until there's money in it to build this road. We tired walking in the mud. We tired being stuck in the mud. We tired not having businesses. That's what people do here. That's what people do all over the world. And that's where, education, experience, and training in legislation and in budget making comes into place. Yes, it's difficult. Yes, our people need food right now. But take, for instance, when we lived in Zwedru, when I lived in Zwedru and went to school in Zwedru, I went to St. Philomena, went to Bishop Julie High School. I graduated before I came to Monrovia to go to class. We had a fish pond. We had a fish pond in our yard. Which legislator is saying, look, let's help with fisheries. That's agriculture. Get some fish, put it in a pond, let our young people begin to do fisheries. Let's do community gardening. Let's go to the schools and say, Mr. Superintendent, Mr. Education Supervisor, or Commissioner, whatever the case may be, the benches in every school, the furniture in every public office should be made by these children, and we got a loan for them, and we open the woodworking place, and we will hire them, we give them jobs, and they will make these furniture to supply the schools and to supply our offices. That's job creation. That's how we can impact the lives of our people. When we begin to do these things, our people are not dumb. Our people are not stupid. Our people simply need the education and they will follow. I was in South Africa 1998, I believe, on a program. One of the organizations I work with, here's one of the projects they undertook. And maybe some of our brothers and sisters in Liberia can do that. Every legislative session, every budget making session, here is what they did. They went to the villages and towns and to the districts and brought people to the headquarters to observe the budget making process and to observe the legislators in action. It's Mr. Peno arguing for a school in Tucson, for a high school in Tucson, for a school in this district, in this lead town. It's Mr. Bully arguing for jobs in this place. So voters actually watch the legislators in action. A, it helps the voters to learn the legislative process and the roles of the legislators. B, it puts fire on the proverbial turtle's back. So the legislators see their people watching them in the gallery and they know they need to do better to deliver for their people. We simply have to educate. And my suggestion would be, let's begin with the young people. Let's go to high schools and mobilize young people and talk to them. Let's do your radio show. Let's speak the vernacular. That's a radio station in Zwedru, I believe, is still there. These are the avenues that we need to utilize to get the message to our people. I don't think our people are stupid. I think they're not hearing enough alternative voices. They are not being gauged long enough. Brother Clark did it. Once he lost, I don't know how long he remained engaged in the process. So the only voice there was, for example, Mr. Peno's voice, taking zinc and buckets and rice to people. And then now we're in another election cycle and we want to engage. If we engage seasonally, we will not make the change that's necessary. We need to engage over time. Let me end by answering your correspondence question. The politicians are going to say there's no money. There is money. The country has a lot of money to invest in education. I was looking at the budget for Grand Jita County Community College and for Zwedru Multilateral High School and for Bata Totman Memorial Hospital shortly before I came here. It's mind-boggling how representatives and senators would make $13,000-$15,000, but a community college would get $100,000 a year to run a community college. That's mind-boggling. And we who refer to ourselves as educated people need to tell our people these things. And it has to be a sustained process. It's not going to happen overnight.
Okay, well, it's all right, Mr. Yuna. Always, I want to thank you. We're going to be wrapping all here. Let me just go back to the other guys yet quickly here. Mr. Clark. Justin, are you there? Okay, let me go to Boa. I think, Mr. Boa, are you there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay. We're gonna be wrapping up here now. I'm not sure. Just is freezing up from the cloud. Let me just get in here. Okay. So, what could be a take-home message from you with such a sort of a sticky issue, volatile situation that we are facing?
No, Mr. So, like everyone have just said, there's a big problem in our county and bigger problem in the whole of Liberia because what is happening in Grand Jita is synonymous to all that is happening in the various counties. We need to involve our people by educating them on the electionary process. Why should I vote for this person? You know, what is his plan? What is his intention? What will he be doing that will improve the lives of our people or that will improve my life? You know, but sometimes our people do not look ahead. They only look right on their feet. What is happening to them right there? And that's where the mistakes always comes from. You know, I can give an example of where I am. I sit in the city council here. We are a member of the largest political party in our district. We lost the election because we made a decision that the people were not satisfied with by closing village schools.
What's
at a
that?
certain point. So the next election that came, they went to the right-wing party and they left the Labour Party because they felt that may affected them. Their children have to move from their villages to go to another village to go to school. But we made a decision based on the economic situation that was prevailing at the time. But the people refused to accept that because they thought we could have made another changes to improve their village schools instead of closing the schools and allowing their children to take buses to kind of school in a bigger town. So we need to involve the people. And when the people are involved in the process, how they develop their own villages and what they need to do, like what Mr. Yano said. Long time before, people used to have fish pond. In Grand Jira is an agriculture county. But because the people do not have the means, they cannot develop themselves. So my closing point is that we need to educate our people so that they will know the reason why they are voting for someone. It is not the fact of telling someone, say, okay, you are being there for 6 years, so give your friends a chance. No. If this person being there for 6 years and has done well, why can't he go for another 6 years? And why would somebody want to leave the House of Representatives to go to the Senate? What have you done in the House of Representatives that has impacted the life of your people from which you want to transfer to the Senate? So we need to look at this issue critically. I think those that are aspiring for positions in Liberia, we need to really put them on the radar, assess the progress, and assess what they have done so that we will be making the right decisions tomorrow. And I think by educating our people on our various radio stations, we have a lot of radio stations in our county now. Almost every district children has a radio station. So all we need to do is to support the radio stations so that they can educate our people to tell them why you need to vote. This person is seeking for elected office. This is what he say he will do. This is what the other person is saying, and then they choose in between. Thank you for having me. I hope we'll continue with this process so that we can really put our politicians on the radar.
Okay. Thank you so much. Let me bring in Mr. Clark, and I will talk to you. Okay, Mr. Clark, what will be your departing statement before we let you go?
Well, thank you so much again. It's been a very beautiful day. Let me reference, before I come to my parting comment on the show, let me reference what some of my big brothers have said. They spoke about transparency, accountability, and being open to the people who elected you, or I mean, when I say you, people who elected our lawmakers who are there now. Now, for example, look at the districts, all right? Sometime back when, during the time of Speaker Alex Tyler, when there was discovery, exploration of ore on our shores, the blocks of ore on offshore Liberia, lawmakers, especially the lower house, undertook an expedition. That is, they undertook a tour to go to rural Liberia to ask the people's views as to what they make of this newfound wealth, that could be a curse or a blessing to Liberia, and they started touring the whole country. They started going to all the districts, the 73 districts. Now, when they came from that district, there was this 4G legislation that was introduced. I don't know whether for political reason or to satisfy Tyler or whoever. Now, and they introduced this law that every district lawmaker should have access to $1 million, $1 million United States dollars as what they call Direct District Development Fund, DDF. And that bogus legislation was unfortunately crafted unanimously and sent to the Senate. Now the Senate reduced it to some 100,000, or thereabout, and sent it to the president, former President Sirleaf, to sign it into her bill. Now, when the former president looked at it, at the time when President Sirleaf looked at it, she said, no, this is unrealistic. However, she reduced it to 65,000. And that 65,000 was still too much money. Now, every year, just look at the Tyler era. Every year, each lawmaker will have access to this $65,000. I saw the late Muna Pelan Youngblood, whose body was flown back to the country today. I was present at Matadi, how you call it, place, KTC, at the school at KTC there. She was making her report as to how she used that money to the different section of our district. But I tell you, since 2006, I have yet to see Chen district lawmaker a legislative report, at least $1,000. I have not seen any other lawmaker, at least from the lower house. I have seen Senator Dennis made a report, I think 1 or 2, 3 occasions. But I mean, at the level of representative, I have not seen a representative making a legislative report in Grand Judah to tell the people, say, look, this is what I've achieved, this is what I gained over the period for Chen district or for Bazon district or for Konabo district. This is what belongs to the district, and what do we do? That question of what do we do is not there. Look at the county development fund. When the county development fund comes, you will see lawmakers fighting to have a share of the county development fund, personal share. When money comes from the county development fund to go to the Grand Judah universities, you know, the university student assembly, you will see lawmakers fighting to get 10%. You know, and they will be the students will be left with, you know, scrambling over crumbs. Yes. At the end of the day, some students will stay out of school. So when I hear some lawmakers saying, you know, from some, especially representatives saying, the people on my scholarship, you know, then it baffles me. Even though there are some lawmakers like Senator Dennis who I know, he sponsors some Grandians who benefited master's degree, you know. But I'm specific about Zweju because you see, Zweju is the center of that county, is the capital of that county. It's not only the capital of the county, it is the commercial and administrative or political hub of the entire southeastern region. If any group is having workshop in the southeast, they'll say, let's go Zweju. If there's any big event in the region, they'll say, let's go Zweju. Because we have you know, a great deal of infrastructure and layout and all of that. So it is crucial that accountability counts. So you cannot keep somebody who has been in a position, who has never made a legislative report. In fact, who cannot read. It is just lately that I've noticed that the Chen district lawmaker who want to be senator, it's just lately that I realized that he has an email address. Can you imagine that? So we need to graduate from those kind of things. All right. So I want to leave the show, you know, to say I'm very gratified today that I can be on your show. It is my hope that I will be called anytime available to share some of these experiences. Yeah, you know, some of these experiences. And of course, as I said from the beginning, these are my personal opinions and my personal analysis. And I mean, I owe no one apology because you know what? If Grand Judah County is hurt, I am hurt. I know for sure that Grand Judah will rise again. But before Grand Judah rises again, we need to disabuse the minds of our people, especially I feel sorry when I see some of my peers, my equals, chasing mobile money beyond politicians. All right? They have to be singing praises to politicians who they know that don't really mean well for the people. It hurts me than anything. But again, they will have beyond democracy to say, oh yeah, this is somebody. It's not just about choosing, but it is about choosing so that posterity can judge you, so that history can judge you tomorrow. That when your grandkids come, they will say, yeah, my father made some right decisions. All right. We will be in the corner blaming our forefathers and say, oh yeah, the papa didn't do anything for us, man. And you know, in fact, my father did not pay us and he died. He was working with Lanco and all of that. So if you will criticize your father, for example, for being in Bombing County, working with Lanco, is that Bombing? Nima County, you know, working with Lanco Namode, and he used all your money on funny thing and did not build a house for you, or he was there yesterday, he did not make good political decision, and you following today. In fact, you are a university student, you call yourself intellectual, and then you following people who only want to keep suppressing the population because they believe that by the time they go to the county with bag of rice, by the time they go with baby top, by the time they go with killing cow. Look, Mr. So I was in Zweju during the campaign in 2017. I saw an elderly brother, an elderly man coming from Zopenu, he movement headquarters where they killing cow 24/7. And the guy was like, he was telling my sister, I was just listening. He was telling my older sister, he said, look, he said, sister, now that small meal, it was open and play today. Yeah, when you see the daughter jump on the dumper, they breaking the bones, you know. And my sister started laughing. So when the guy left, look, I started laughing. I was laughing not because it was so funny, but it was so crazy to me, you know. So I'm using this medium as I've always been engaged. I can be on the local station in Zoju, at least sharing my experience with the people. It is only this coronavirus thing that now I'm not in Grand Jide, but I'll remain engaged with our people. And you know, in as much as my boss can give me the permission, you know, and for the sake of our county, I can go, and I'm not going to antagonize people, but you know, people are afraid of the truth. So once I'm telling the truth, I don't owe anybody apology. Again, it's my pleasure being here, especially sharing the platform with some big people I know, you know, from the county, some good brains I know. I mean, it's my first time to see Mr. To, the conservative. You know,
he's a liberal. I want to say real.
Sorry, he's a liberal. Yeah, he's a liberal.
He's a liberal.
You know, it's my first time to see Mr. Doru. You know, so I really appreciate, and we pray that Grand Jide will triumph over all these auditors.
Okay. Well, that's the voice of a veteran journalist, Justice Randa Clark. He's also a senior editor at the Liberian News Agency. But views, like you rightfully say, views expressed there is that of his. It does not represent the institutions or the facility he works for. But he's a Grandian, and he has a right to speak to the issue. Definitely, we're going to be having this discussion regularly. We are hoping, if all goes well, to really be on ground there. And who knows? We'll try to put a debate in place, and there's no way that Clark will be left behind that process if it is to happen. So let's keep in touch. I know you guys are busy. Thank you for all what you are doing, giving back to your country, keeping to lean out greatly. I was there. I visited the facility. I'm quite sure there are some other good improvement now in the place, and hopefully when we come back, again, we'll have the time to take another tour as well. Thank you.
You're most welcome, sir.
All right. Thank you so much. Okay. Mr. Are you there? What's your final word before we go?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Yes, I agree. I mean, this is a difficult task. Changing mindsets is not easy. It takes time. It takes a lot of hard work. But as I said before, it has to happen over time. And because it has to happen over time, we have to remain engaged over time. And we have to adapt a lot of strategies to make sure that it happens. And it has to be at a local level. It also has to be at a national level. Let's take, for instance, the issue of money. As I've always said, the reason why the money is not filtering down to the people is not because the country doesn't have money. It's the appropriation of the money. It's the prioritization of where we placed our money and our resources. And it comes from the legislature and it comes from the executive. And I want to say, I believe very strongly that is happening because there is a corrupt cahoot between the executive and the legislature to actually apportion the people's money onto themselves and then to use the money to make the people subservient to them. Take, for instance, as Mr. Clark said earlier, there's no reason whatsoever why a legislator should get a certain amount of money for development in their district. That's not the job of a legislator. If the legislator, a representative is going to get money to develop their district, what's the job of the local government? What's the job of the superintendent? What's the job of the city mayor? What's the job of the county or district commissioner? So basically what they're doing is that they are usurping the functions of local government. They're killing our democracy and they're enriching themselves overnight at the detriment of our people. City mayors, superintendents, district commissioners, and others in the executive branch of government are the implementers, not legislators. In fact, the foundation of our democracy is the concept of checks and balances. And that foundation says that The legislature holds the purse string, they pass the budget, and executive implements, and then the legislature serves as a check on the executive in terms of how it's implementing and spending the people's money. That's why the legislature has oversight responsibility over the executive. If the legislature is the one implementing projects and the same legislature has to pass the budget, guess what? They'll keep giving themselves the money. And then who checks them in terms of how they spend the money? That is the corrupt syndicate that's happening in Liberia. And that syndicate needs to be broken so that the money filters down to our people. To Martha Totman Memorial Hospital. I was reading UNICEF paper the other day where a young sister almost died in Kunambo because this healthcare system that is not is she had a difficult delivery and the clinic could not hold her. They had to put her on a UNICEF car to bring her to Zwerdru from Kunambo. She could have died on the road.
Right.
Or if a UNICEF vehicle wasn't there, she would have died. These are the things that we need to educate our people about. It will take time, but we need to engage. Not engaging is to assure ourselves of failure.
Okay, well, that's how we're going to leave it today. Mr. Yunan, thank you so much. We're going to be back here we'll keep doing what we are doing to make sure that we keep our people up to speed as to what is happening, and we will be having this. This is not only Grand Judas under the radar. All of the rest of the political subdivisions will continue to have this talking point. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Okay, well, there you have it. I'm Alfonso Ziensot of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. We're gonna be good.
Chacun a son caractère. Jeunesse sociale, adéquence, l'union fait la force, hein. Bon, Vitola, voyons plein bas. Commandant Timoléon,
Well, this is how we're going to be going home here today using the veteran chloramine. Every good thing must come to an end.
We are powerful people, intelligent people, educated people from Angela. I know they are so happy. They are so happy on the mass. Zulu Whiskey on the way. Brother Gibbo of Chile Hot Dog.
So this is how we're going to be living it this afternoon.
I say you play, I say you play, I say you play, I want you to follow. The West Swell. We are from Brangila. We are from Brangila. Let me tell you something, my people. Let me tell you something I say. In Brangila, we have great people from there. In Brangila, we have powerful people, intelligent people, educated people from Brangila. I know they are so happy. They are so happy on the mass well. The marshal done the song. The Baba again song. The most joyful song. We are from Nigeria. They have sang up a song. That's what we do song. The Brangela did the song. The Brangela did the song. You go read the song. The Prince also. The Gabati also. The Bodemondo also. Ellis, Nire. The Brangela. They are so. Jabba. Yes, in Jeru. Jabba. Abino Clever. Monster Clever. Binka. Achimo. Not the one by Yablio Sewe. They are so. The Brangela. I know they are so. Brangela Association President in America. Jingote. Oh, well. Smart FM Manager. Solo Louis. You got the way. You got the way. You got the from Brangela. Will you go? Will you go from Brangela? Who say no? Brangela Association National Chaplain. Ah, well. Scajuan Richela. Who say no? Elizabeth, she from Brangela.
All right, folks, that's how we're going to leave it here today. Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. We want to thank all of our followers here this afternoon on this edition. This is something that we're going to be doing. And this is not just on the grand leader. We're going to be taking it right to go into the minds, the thinking, the political decision makings of electors. And most often we say the president. But it is these people that also make up it is at their will and pleasure to vote the kind of people that they are voting, whether they are doing the right thing, the long and short term goal. You listen to the audio, the sampling of what we did in Grand Juliet, what the people are thinking on, considering to how they're going to be voting. And it's quite amazing. We hope to do that to the rest of the counties as well to give it a fair share because we are Liberia Public Radio. The nomenclatures of our institutions reflect the broader view, and I believe everybody should be served in that same token. So I want to thank all of you for following us here. Tomorrow, we're going to be in the same southeastern side at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That will be hosting one of the senatorial expiring from Sano County. Honorable Thomas Kuyata will be right here. We're going to be having our discussion. If all remains constant, the Executive Director of the Environmental Protection Agency of the Republic of Liberia, Randolph W., will be here on Wednesday, as you know. We look at the Bible, the biblical parts of what the Bible says. The truth shall set you free with Bishop Natayat. Going to be here on Wednesday. And then Thursday, all things considered, we hope to have the sitting lawmaker of Mount Gibby County, our understanding. He's on the ticket for the Council of Patriots. He will be here. Dr. Fofana will be here. We hope to finalize that. And then next Sunday is one of the senatorial expiring for Grand Gita County, Mr. William Bill Yanun, the former president of the Grand Gita Association, will be right here. We are reached out to Madam Felicia Duncan. We are hearing is contemplating to contest the race as well. We are reached out to Mr. Saros Cooper, Beatrice Sapi Johnson, and all of that, making sure those that are expressing their opinions their view or their political will for the Grand Gita senatorial race will give them the fair share to be here to explain. Again, Director Kwame Opa Weeks, thank you for joining us this evening hour. Thank you for the extraordinary work you are doing in Liberia, also exposing and getting to see some of the things that are happening. It is what this news is all about. You got to go out there and bring out a lot of stories out there. It's not just all about sitting before the executive mansions or the Capitol building, but there are people there with good story. I watched that your clip yesterday. That lady, quite fascinating. Someone who say is mentally ill, but to have such a good memory, and I think she was very grateful to Director Weeks. That was her first time. I asked he said you are a journalist. So he said, oh, so the people they know exactly what is happening. And we must give them the chance. Who knows? That could be a turning point for her in her life. You know what it means for somebody to just say, oh, one director came here to interview me? Because some of these people, they feel they are left behind. Nobody's talk about them. Nobody think about them. And it was quite amazing. I saw that lady cooking there yesterday. Kwame, you ate something, my man? Okay, well, folks, that does it here this evening. I'm Alfonso Z and Sort of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. Of course, Mr. Justice Rhonda Clark is also a senior star at the Liberian New Agency doing an extraordinary job. Thank you for your expertise. Hopefully, from here now and then, we're going to tap into the expertise of those who tested the process. But for what we heard today, it is a clear indication that the deal is not yet sealed. And for those who have this political quest, they need to think about it.
Call her name again, please. Oh, you the client. Okay, client you work for Dwejit. Is that which are the client that? Yeah, okay. So now you also, I believe you also selling in the market in Dwejit town here. Yes. So the people say we should come and ask you anytime from now we'll be voting for our senator. Yes. So like all the people can vote for the senator. Yes. So now. Who the person? We got plenty of people. We got Amos Zile, we got William Yanu, we got that George Bole, You know, we got open, we got plenty people. So who the people of Georgetown, or you precisely, who you really looking at? I think it will be our good, or be a very good senator for us in Grand Judea.
The old person that person is still carrying you.
Like who the person now?
So one.
Who they call Zo one?
Zopenon.
Okay, so like Zopenon you carry.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So man, you got anything to say to as well? You're not carrying nobody? You're not ready? You're not ready to catch some?
Does you hear it? That's the samplings of the view. Let's listen to this again.
So this interview. Your name?
My name is Mr. Johnson G. From Tiantown.
And what's your position?
Now I am the acting town chief.
Okay. Now that we are in your town, Tiantown, the background is very clear here. We basically want to look at this upcoming election. Few months from now, we'll be going to the pool to elect our next senator. So looking at, we have many candidates from Bazon, Kunabo, Chien. What are some candidates that the people of Tiantown are looking at for now?
I think they're calling me down there.
Yeah, sure. But let's just finish with the interview.
Okay. For me, that's open who I want now.
Okay. Why you want open?
Because I believe that Zo is here for the native people. He help people in Grand Judea a lot that I don't know.
You have so many of your sons from this district who are also contesting, and now we're leaving them going for Zopen, who is all the way in Chien.
Well, our brother from our town here, Marshall Denny, he have done it already,
Okay.
and he time pass. So I don't have any other brother there again, but really Zo is doing it for us. What I've been seeing.
Okay. Thank you very much. So welcome to this special interview. Tell us your name.
Michael Zemani. One of the businessmen in the town. Also a sponsor for what we call Scar Power.
Okay. Yeah. Now it's my pleasure having an interview with you this time. Basically, I want us to look at this upcoming 2020 election. The time is near already. You from Dweji Town here.
Yeah.
Tell me, who are you looking at as your candidate for this 2020 race?
For me, my interest lies in Honorable Emmanuel Penu to be an incoming senator for Judea County.
Honorable Penu is from Chien District, and why are you leaving all of the candidates from Bazon and going for somebody all the way to Chien?
Yeah, I'm saying this because Honorable Zopenu is not somebody that partial. He's for everybody. Although he's from Chien District, for one example, when he won a representative position 2005 in Gedeans, many are from Gedeans. We invited him in Gedeans and we proposed things to him pertaining to our sporting material. He brought us 22 pair of football boots, 2 set of jersey, 4 football.
Okay. All right. So besides that.
Besides that, he's open on the ground of the representative for Chien District. He's doing plenty of things in Bazon District.
Okay.
He's literally in Bazon District that people get it law. This is what we really want to take in for the vicinity.
Your name? Okay, Orito W. Orito W. Chlo. Okay, man. What's your position as well in San Juan here? Okay. The town San Juan. Okay. So now, anytime from now, we'll be electing senator again. 2014, we elected senator and Marshall Dennis win. So now, this year again, we'll be voting for another senator. So now you looking at you from this time here, San Juan year. I know other aspirant have been coming, different aspirant. So man, who you think this time around will carry? For your own view.
My own view.
Yeah.
Zopen.
Man, what will carry Zopen for this time? Because like people from your children here too from your district here to la contesting too. Now you want carries open. Why you want carries open for? Yeah.
Open can do more development in certain area.
Yeah.
Not our area yet.
Yeah.
That time you were represented
in Zwaju, and still represented there.
Still represented. Yeah. But now it becomes senator for all the district now.
Yeah. So the way he represented.
Okay, what? That's quite interesting. That's it. That was a sampling interview done by our man, Abu Turet, in Grenada County. Most of us are from the Wazon Bell, and you could hear these voters. If you hear somebody say, I'm a cheerleader, and cheerleader going in that direction, that's not something you're going to overlook. We'll be receiving more of this. We have the videos, we have the audio, and we're going to put it out. We're going to be coming from the Quinemo district, from the Chien district, but the Zoe panel factor seems to be a factor. Then you listen to them. Mr. Clark was on the program. You listen to them. But what it all means for this crucial, consequential senatorial election from Grenada County. Well, on Sunday, I'm going to be having Bill Yanun. Mr. William Yanun is a former president of the Grenada Associations. Is in this race here. I'm going to be hosting here this coming Sunday. And we're going to be having the conversations. It's a challenge. How can they change this narrative with these voters? Again, this is not a scientific one, but we are doing the samplings to get to go in the minds of this electorate, how they're making their decisions, and some of the things you had the other men. So when we're having our tournaments, open us and 20 boots, jersey, footballs, and stuff like that. So that's something is in the back of their mind. The other lady says Zoe is doing development in Chien district. And so when he becomes senator, he will serve the entire county. So it means those that have the political ambitions, they have to double up to do what they can do. What this is our job is to bring it out. You decide the fate. I hope Madam Felicia Duncan, who is also a senatorial aspirant, will take her time with all, Mr. Sarah Scoport, Beatrice Sappy Johnson, as well, all of them, making sure to give them the fair share. You better do it now because you don't know when you're going to get this sort of a free promotion again. Because when the real time kicks out now, then you have to spend some cash. Yeah, we have to keep the institution running. Well, until then, folks, every good thing must come to an end. When the carrot to eat, the carrot to butcher your own baby will start from end, starting from Grenada, and we're going to spread out to all the other rest of the 14 political subdivisions where the races are ongoing. To also play in the minds of the electors and what are they considering, how are they going to vote, on what issue are they going to vote, all of that, we're going to talk that. And I'm quite sure the story of Grand Judah is no different from that of Sando or from Riverside. I talked to somebody from Grand Crew yesterday, and we hope to be getting something out of there as well. But join me tomorrow, Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to be hosting the Sando Senatorial Aspirant, Mr. Thomas Kwiat will be here. Tuesday, hopefully, the Environmental Protection Agency of Liberia, Director Randolph W. If all goes well, going to be here. Wednesday, the Truth Shall Set You Free with Bishop Nataya, and then let's go on. We will tell you for the other days upcoming event, but for sure, Sunday, we're going to have Bill Wilt Yano. Until then, I'm Alfonso Ziensot of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. Have a pleasant day. Please stay safe and then be blessed. Let's take this beautiful gospel song as a take home this evening program. Bye-bye.
Yahweh, 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 Amute wasawa. Yeah yo. Yeah yo. How you te wasawo. Yeah, oh, oh, yeah, there was